What up, fam? What up, you crazy kids? How's it going? Yeah, we're cozy today. We're cozy. It's chilly, mellow, drum solo right off the bat. Oh, and it's Birdland. What's up, Birdland? Drinking some water. We'll go ahead and crack the passion fruit LaCroix. Highwire Music. How's it going? Welcome on in. What's up, guys? We're already off to a banging start. Look at this. We love it. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. How are we? How's everybody doing? No, we're cozy today. We're in the robe. Oh, follower Golmet 270. Well, hey, thanks. What's up, Highwire? How's it going? How's everybody doing? Give me some toasts in chat. Some of this guy in chat. If we're having a good day. I'm having an excellent day. Purchase was made this morning. A very exciting purchase of a GoPro, a used GoPro. That GoPro is going to be a part of the new live looping setup, the premiere of which is going to be Sunday. We are going to do a big, badass live looping stream on Sunday. At least that is the goal. As always, don't hold me to it. An announcement will be made in the Discord. What's up, Mainism? How's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Pet Toast. We can pet toast real quick. Hang on. Stream sends you love. Chat sends you love. Good call. What do you mean by live looping? I mean that since I believe you're new, Hitwire, I'll give you my quick spiel, and that'll help it make a little bit more sense. Hi, I'm Nathan Scott. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am a full-time professional producer, composer, multi-instrumentalist, mixmaster, engineer. I make music for a living. And my stream is mostly about me doing kind of paid client commission work. So I do a lot of video game scoring. I do artist production. I do commercial music production. And a lot of stream is us hanging out, just kind of doing that. You know, I talk about my process, songwriting, music production, plugins that I use, music theory, all these different kinds of things. We also do feedback for people. Today is Feedback Friday. So anyone who has a track to share and want me to check out, I'm happy to. But I play all these different instruments. I play drums, I play percussion, I play bass and guitar and keys. And it has been a long time dream of mine to get a setup going in Bitwig to where I can do live loop. I do a lot of, left to my own devices, I do a lot of, lo-fi electronic kind of stuff. And I've been working for quite a long time to get a rig set up to where I can do basically, live improvised, lo-fi breakbeat, that kind of stuff. And that rig is finally coming together. So we're going to start doing a live looping stream at least once, maybe a couple of times a week, where we just hang out for a couple hours and vibe, and I just kind of, also make music, but a different kind of music, live performance music instead of production music, which is what I normally do. So that is what is coming on Sunday. I'm extremely excited to finally be able to sort of launch that, because it's been a long time coming, but I finally have the final component getting picked up on Sunday. I'm going to rig it up to where the GoPro, I like lo-fi and lo-fi adjacent music. Hey, me too. Well, you should come on Sunday then. Because I'm just going to be vibing out. Here, I'll preview some of the tracks for you guys. They're literally just loops because they're meant to be vehicles for improvisation. But I have them sort of set up, and I'll the whole idea is that I just have kind of song ideas and snippets. Some of them are going to be tracks that you guys hear in the intro to stream, when stream is starting, or in the background when we're chatting. That's all also stuff that I've produced for projects over the years. A lot of that is what's up, Jackla? Good to see you. Thanks for the comment over on YouTube, by the way, Jackla. Very kind of you. But no, some of them will be tracks over from the intro music and these other projects that I've done over the years, because those will translate very well to this format. And then I've kind of written being a very loose term, some new stuff, such as this. So, that kind of a vibe. And that's all stuff that I will build live, like play the keys, play the guitar, play the drums, and like improvise and solo. Still have to figure out how to route my metronome correctly. But like we've got that one. We've got that one's called What's Next? I never know what to name anything that I make. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, no, it's all that stuff's coming. All that normal socially junk is on its way. I just have to. I've been working so much, but what's really nice is that I finally actually have time to work on stream stuff. I'm not like I was wedding season for like all of summer and into the fall, and that's finally over and done with. I'm done doing wedding gigs finally. So I have a lot more time to dedicate to setting all this stuff up. But like this one I called Liquid Smoke. So that's that one. A little bit funkier. Plants for Hire, I called this one. Again, I absolutely funkalicious. Thank you. Yes, a lot of it is quite funky. Like I said, I never know what to call anything because they're just kind of like little jams. Yeah. Oh, what's up, ZDD? Welcome. Good to see you. I am full of funk. Case in point. So these are all the kinds of tracks that we have to look forward to. Hang on. That one is called Plants for Hire. This one's called Rockberg. I've just kind of been putting these together after stream, before stream, sometimes in the middle of the night. What's funking today? Today's Feedback Friday. So anybody with a tune to share, please, ! Feedback in chat. We'll get you a link to the little form that you can fill out to get in queue for Feedback Friday. But if we don't have a ton of feedback, we're going to keep working on this sync piece for TV placement with my buddy Chris Galen. So that is kind of what's on the docket. This one I like very much. But yeah, because I can lay down the drums and all the different beat stuff, and then like loop it all. Did you go through your Twitch recap? I did not. Yes, the drum stack is very fun on this one. It is this kit I built in Superior Drummer. That's like super tight. Hang on. Super tight, gritty. So we got that. And then also, what else? What else? Oh, that has so many effects on it. Tambourine, but like pitched around all crazy. And then just like basic, basic groove layer on top. But all three of them together is pretty scrumptious. Yeah, that snare is two things layered. It's this, or it might be that. Hang on, what is it? What's up, Cheesy? Oh yeah, so it's just the snare sound there. That. And then in Superior Drummer, it is a... Come here, Superior Drummer. Where are you? Why are you hiding from me? Cheese person, indeed. Ludwig Coliseum? 8x14 Ludwig Coliseum. But then with some envelope shaping and just an absolute snot load of compression on it. But yeah, that's even just that alone. Is pretty thick. And then layers. Yes. So that is just a few select little bits of what is coming on Sunday. Also, I'm going to try to work up. I have a cover that I've been working on for a while of Brothers on a Hotel Bed by Death Cab for Cutie, but it's like drum and bass. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't even remember quite where that's at. Let's see if this is in any kind of state to showcase what it's all about. No, it is not. Okay, that's fine. But that'll be also very, very cool. If I want to see your Twitch recap. Zach, I don't even know what that is, though. I just don't even know what that is. What is that? Tell me. I'm so bad at Twitch. I'm so absolutely terrible at Twitch. I'm assuming it's some kind of AI-generated, neural net-powered recap of everything I've ever done and said distilled into a sentence. Or something. I have no earthly idea. It should be a notification on your Twitch page. Your recap is here. This year we came together like never before to stream, hang, and co-create. Sure. I streamed for 200 hours, 80 times, over 65 days. That doesn't make any sense. I watched for 1,106 hours. I guess that must count watching myself in the background. My top stream reached 18 viewers. That is also not accurate. We had a stream where we got rated and had like 80 something in here all at once. I had people watching me for 1,000 hours total. Oh, well, that's fun. That's so many hours. 23,000 chats received. Of course, Epic Toast is the top emote. Absolutely. We love it. Shout outs to all of these various people, including you, Zach. Look at that. I need to do more collaborations. And also, shout out to Nose. Raids received 4. I've received 4 raids in the last week, Twitch. There's a mod. Yes, ZDD is historically our mod, but ZDD is very busy with like life at the moment. So Super is also going to be our new mod. That's a very exciting announcement. Share my recap. Oh, well, how fancy is that? I love it. Those are some numbers. 2026 is going to be a whole lot more than all of that. Skilo, how's it going, friend? Thanks very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Top 10%? Wow, look at me go. That's pretty cool. Recap came out a few days ago, so the data was probably aggregated before that. Yeah, it's probably a while behind. We have Moss Woman keeps rating me, which is very kind of her. But yeah, she's rated a couple of times in the last week or two. Anyways, how neat? How neat is that? Well, you guys know the deal here on Fridays. It's Feedback Friday, so this is like a very mellow, just hang time stream. We just chill. We'll work on stuff if we have time or cause to work on stuff. But it is Feedback Friday, so anybody with a track, if you want me to check it out, please share. Exclamation point feedback in chat on the Twitch side will get you a quick link to a Google form. You can fill that out for me real quick. Just tells me a little bit more about you, about your track, what you're looking for specific feedback on, and we will take a look. Robe type of vibe, comfy, cozy times. Yes, absolutely. No, it's a chilly day here in the city of the newest York. So we are absolutely in robe mode here. It felt fitting. My long, cozy pants are in the wash currently. Otherwise, I'd be wearing those too. But yeah, chime in with feedback if you want. In the meantime, we can either jump back into working on this track that we were working on yesterday for my buddy Chris, or if anybody has like questions or topics of conversation. Actually, I have one. I was chatting with Supertonic, valued member of the community, one of our all-stars in here, and we were chatting about music for his game, and he was pondering a question that I thought was very interesting and is actually something I've talked with developers about on the game scoring side multiple times. Thinking about the sonic identity. This is super paraphrased. Thinking about the sonic identity music style for my game, I'm torn between two styles, full quality or retro quality. Full quality kind of being like stuff that we would normally do. Getting scammed. Oh, you wanted a drum solo. That's right. You requested that the second I started streaming. Sorry. Yeah, we can do a drum solo. What do you want me to do a drum solo over? We'll do that in a second. But I wanted to talk about this for a second first. But this is something, like I said, that I've talked about with developers on their games before, because there's a lot of games even today that are, people do in a very, you could call it a retro style, but they basically go for like an overall musical sound with the score for their game that leans very, very into, what's up, DQ? Good to see you. Leans into classic game sounds. So like, old like Nintendo, old DOS games, like all that kind of stuff, leans very much into those kinds of sound sets. And so either uses like sound fonts of like old General MIDI sounds that would have been used way back in the day, or, uses like old FM synthesis. Like I even have a couple of plugins, like what is it? APN, APL, what is this thing? I can't remember what it's called. OPN, I think, is another one. Yeah, like this thing. This is called OPN, and I've used this on scores before. But this is literally like FM synthesizer emulation of the Yamaha YM2612 sound chip, or FM synthesis chip, which is exactly what was like the actual thing inside of like an old Amiga or an old Nintendo that actually made those sounds what they are, It's super quiet. And so when you're looking at scoring a game, depending on the art direction of your game, depending on the vibe of your game, the genre of your game, like a lot of times there is an argument for using exclusively stuff like this to do the soundtrack because it makes it feel very nostalgic. It makes it feel, if it were a film, you would say it makes it feel like a period piece kind of a thing. You see it a lot with cozy games. You see it a lot with mobile games. I did give the videos you sent a listen. Yeah, there's a couple of Zelda videos. One much more like old school, and then one much newer. And then so that in contrast to the kind of production that I would normally more do, which is like modern sample libraries, scoring libraries, full orchestral stuff, all that. And there's actually a lot of gradient in between the two. And we've been working on stream on this point and click game for quite a while, off and on. 13 viewers. Crazy. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. I love it. It's good for Feedback Friday, Now we just need tracks to do feedback on. To your spiel. I just did my spiel. I could do my spiel again, I guess. I'll quickly do my spiel. I'm Nathan Scott. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Apparently, we're at very high viewership right now. Oh, look at that. We are. How lovely. Is there anybody new in here? I'm not seeing anybody new in here. That's okay. You guys know the drill. I guess if you don't, yeah, I'm a professional musician, music producer, and we hang out on Twitch and on stream and make music. It's a pretty good time. But as I was saying, we've been working on this point and click game, and this is the exact conversation that I had with those developers at the beginning of working with them, because they were very much, or their game is very much in that style of like a classic, mid 90s point and click. We'll jump back over here while we chat. Like point and click kind of a vibe. And so I was like, okay, there's kind of three different ways I can go about. It is Feedback Friday, absolutely, DQ. Yeah, exclamation point feedback. Get at it. Kick us off. We haven't gotten one yet. Yeah, I was like, there's three different ways that I can go about scoring your game. We can do like an extremely old school where it is emulating like an old, like a mod tracker sound, we would call it, where sent a second one yesterday. You can use that. Okay. Let me pull that up in the background here. Is this the G Unit 50 Cent style track? I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. Let me know. Yep. Okay, cool. We'll look at it in just a second. Let me just finish my point with this. There's that kind of a sound, which you also have to think about how sound and music for video games worked back in the day. Nowadays, obviously, you just ship audio files alongside your game. They're typically OGG files is the most common format, or sometimes they're proprietary files that get generated by, Unity or Unreal or whatever, or Fmod or, whatever tool you're using. But back in the day, like music files, even heavily compressed music files like OGGs and MP3s are quite large in context of like sizes of files for the 90s. They're massive files. Like even an MP3 of a 3-minute song is like 3 or 4 megabytes. That's an entire floppy disk. So they needed to be able to release music alongside games, but in like kilobyte size files. So instead of including or distributing any kind of actual audio file, they would include either what we call mod tracker data, or they would include MIDI files, which are very closely related. And those are much smaller than any kind of audio. And then the device that you were playing on, whether it was a console, like an old Nintendo or something, or a computer system, would have playback facilities on it that if it were a PC, especially in the 90s, would have what we call the Windows General MIDI sound library, or the GM sound library, which is it's very like a lot of the old, like if you ever had a little kid student keyboard, if you were learning to play piano when you were a little kid and you had you could hit a button and it would do like a little samba beat, those kinds of sounds. Or it would have literally an FM synthesis chip, like the plugin that I was just showing you, that would have like 4 different lanes of oscillators or operators in the case of an FM synth. And the game would basically stream MIDI data in one form or another into that synthesis chip across the 4 oscillators or into the MIDI library across a couple of different MIDI channels, and that's what would actually play back the music. So it wasn't like you had an MP3 or an OGG file or whatever that was just playing back as a stereo file. It was literally triggering and performing almost the music in real time. In fact, it was a very popular gaming accessory in the 90s to get an external MIDI sound brain from a company like Roland that had much higher quality samples in it than like your Windows PC did. Note on and off, velocity data, modulation data, all of the normal like MIDI, what we call MIDI CC lanes or MIDI control change lanes. And there were all kinds of different, and then also that's what's different about Mod Tracker data is it would also include DCA, digitally controlled analog. It would essentially like set up the sounds on the, so it would change the attack and decay and release and all that stuff to create, the sounds the developers had in mind using that FN synthesis chip. So all of that being said, that's what I told these developers. I was like, there's 3 ways we can do it. We can do the full like Mod Tracker thing where I limit it to 4 channels or 4 kind of streams of musical ideas, each monophonic, and I use a plugin like OPN, or I think the other one was like ALN or something, that is an emulation of these old synthesis chips. That's the most retro way of doing it. That's like late 80s, early 90s. You can do it with only general MIDI sounds, that's the one they ended up choosing, which is more like mid to late 90s, PC games. Or we can do it with like the full modern, complement of scoring tools, which will make it sound very modern, but we can still write it more in the style of classic game music, because there's also a lot of like harmonic and melodic and rhythmic vocabulary that goes with classic game scoring. That's very unique and distinctive. So there's, different arguments to do it each way, but it is always a consideration, and it's just cool to think about, just like those different sounds, those different approaches, how they play into the almost like musicology, you could say, or the historical aspect of game composition. Are you by any chance familiar with live coding or algorithmic coded music? Like, for example, making music with apps like Tidal Cycles or Strudel. Make music in live looping, but through writing and editing code. I am not. I have heard of none of those things. It sounds very interesting. I know there is Ableton users will know it, Max MSP, which is a music programming language. I've seen guys do stuff like that in Max MSP's sort of generative algorithmic music, but I have not heard of make music with live looping, but through writing and editing code. That's fascinating. I will Google those things. Because that sounds very interesting. I don't really have honestly any idea how that would even work, but certainly sounds interesting. Okay, let's jump into feedback. I owe you a drum solo, Super, but you gotta let me know what you want me to do the drum solo on. But yeah, let's check out DQ's track here. Okay, we are in Dropbox. Hang on, sorry guys. Got other things open in the background here. Okay, zoop. So when you talk with those devs, you generally should explain how they could go about this. Do you give them some direction? Why do you want to choose one or the other? I mean, it was a whole... Oh, thank you for the follow, Slippy. Appreciate it. How's it going? Welcome on in. It's definitely like a conversation that we have, over a period of time. And I sent them examples. Like they gave me the first piece, the brief for the first piece that they wanted to commission me for. And I did a snippet of it in all 3 different styles. I just 4, 8 bars or whatever. But thanks for streaming feedback. Indeed. If you want feedback on your track slid, do ! feedback in chat. And I will, that's going to link you to a little Google form that I have you fill out real quick. Just tells me a little bit more about you and the track and what you want feedback on. And I will happily take a look at it. But no, super. It's ultimately up to the developers because it leans much more into the like art direction side of things, right? And like the game direction side.
Slide wants feedback
Um,
on their song.
uh, so I always have my own opinions on what I think would be best. And like, I'm sending the message. Part of it simply because it fits the art style, has clarity, readability, absolutely crucial for my game because music puzzles. The arguments are there arguments that can be made against it? No, I mean I think you're correct, but the first example that you sent, which was a Zelda thing, was the like full on mod tracker. I'm pretty sure I'd have to re-listen to it. I would recommend going with what I did for the point and click game, which is to do the general MIDI sounds. Because it just gives you a lot more versatility and it doesn't lock you in. Like doing it real old school like that, it really limits your sound set and it kind of limits the inherent like genres that you can do. Like you can never do anything really with guitars that sound at all like guitars. Drums are very, very tricky to get sounding like good and punchy. We can talk more about that, but yeah, that's kind of the deal there. I basically use and manipulate samples with proprietary code developed specifically for the app. Okay, stock sound bank of drum machines, synths can load their own samples. There's also many. Oh, interesting. So it's just like a code-based DAW or sort of Ableton-ish performance tool or something. That's cool. That's very interesting. I'll have to check that out. But for right now, let's check out DQ's track.
DQ.
It's funky. It's a really good groove. I like that. I think definitely it would on its own. It's an instrumental bed, obviously, so it feels as this is quite repetitive. Definitely like getting a rapper over it would make it a full complete tune. I think that's kind of a given for what it is. But even with that, feedback wise, yeah, it's a good groove. It sounds nice. The mix is pretty nice. Might be hitting the master a little bit hot, which I think we were talking about the other day, so I won't get super deep into that. I would, even though, it's definitely like meant for a rapper, and that's going to very much be the main focus, I would still love to hear some drum fills here and there. Like even one of my favorite things to hear in this kind of beat production is like find a great old sample off, like you could do like an old like a Billy Cobham record or a James Brown record or something with Clyde Stubblefield playing drums, and just find like a really cool fill. Like cut that and fly it in to help spice up the transitions a little bit. Also, don't shy away from more. Yes, very 90s. Don't shy away from being a little bit more textural. with some of your with like a vintage fill. Yeah, 100%. And you can literally just cut that and fly it in, on like beat 3 of the bar before it leads into a transition. But another really great way to introduce a lot of interest into a beat like this and make it feel a little bit more unique is just thinking about like like saturation and lo-fi-ing some different elements of the mix. So like you've got a nice clean piano in there. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. You've got a really nice piano sound in there. Let me pull up Keyscape here. Give me just a basic Yamaha grand, please. Right. And I think you've got some reverb on it, which is nice. I don't even remember quite what you're playing. Let me check. That's cool. Yeah, and I think you've got some nice reverb on there. I love, like, here's a plugin that I use all the time. It's called Cassette from Pianos and Vibraphones, for sure. I love this thing. This is from Waves Factory, I believe. Yeah. And, like, even just real quick, like, I love this Fuzzy Vox preset. And it adds a ton of wow and flutter and a little bit of distortion. And it gives it so much character immediately. Obviously, that's a pretty extreme example. That definitely that has a lot of character to it. Yes, Cassette from Waves Factory I use constantly. It sounds phenomenal because you can literally just slap it on and it takes like what was a pretty plain Jane piano, better than RC20. I'm not familiar with RC20. Pretty plain Jane piano and just immediately gives it some really, really great vibe. And then, combining that with, say, a nice tape delay of some kind. Like, I'm a big fan of the T-Rex space delay. If it will. Oh, Bitwig doesn't like my IK T-Rex stuff, which is confusing. I don't entirely understand why. Let's grab a generic delay here. Keyscape. Keyscape crashed. What's going on? This is madness. Give me my piano back. I had such a nice piano sound. Why did you take it away from me? Yes, there's just like a nice basic delay on that. And then, maybe some nice smashy compression. Yeah, absolutely. Or like vinyl. Like an Isotope vinyl or Abbey Road vinyl from Waves would be great to add that as well. What am I looking for here? Compression. Like a good, kind of thwacky, aggressive compressor like a 1176, for example. Which I use the CLA 76 from Waves. So like throw it into bluey mode, a little bit more saturated, like all buttons in. And that's just a few quick additions of like some compression, some tape saturation, and a little bit of delay. It's a little bit spacier. You don't even need the delay necessarily. Right? Has way, way, way more character to it. Than just a total plain Jane, kind of a thing. These are all like really great kind of little shortcutty ways to, especially if you're doing beat-oriented music, whether it's hip-hop or really anything else, to take more basic like MIDI sounds and VSTs and make them sound like something real vibey and real cool and real interesting and unique right off the bat. Like heavy compression's great for that. Tape saturation's great for that. And like tape machine emulation stuff, vinyl emulation stuff. Very quick, very easy. So that's kind of where I would go with it. Yeah, of course, Super. Absolutely. If not today, then at some point this weekend, I'll be around all weekend working on live looping stuff. Like on that lead synth, you know, or like throw stuff into like a guitar amp plugin. I love to do that too. Like I'll grab, like if I want to add a bunch of crunch to a snare drum, for example, or a lead synth like that, I'll like duplicate it and throw it into just a guitar amp sim and like put it through like a Marshall stack. And then even if you just blend it in a little bit in parallel, like it's ways of giving things texture and making things sound, you know, a little bit more interesting, a little bit more ear catchy, so to speak. Oh, Guitar Rig? I can show you Guitar Rig. If you have a Guitar Rig. Guitar Rig's quite straightforward. It's definitely intimidating if you don't know what's up, but I think I actually probably have Guitar Rig loaded right here. No, that's bass. You have it. Yeah. Okay, let's look at Guitar Rig for a second. And then who is next in queue for feedback? Slide or Slid. We'll get to you in just a second, friend. Don't you worry. But this is a good thing because most guitar amp sort of sim situations will work similarly to this. So you think about a plugin like Guitar Rig in sort of like modules or components. So right click here in your sort of rack area, add component. And then all of these are going to be, every plugin is going to be different, but these are all going to be just different like models of popular, well-known guitar amps and bass amps and different things like that. And so you got to know a little bit if you really want to get into it, you need to know a little bit about popular guitar amps. So like AC Box, for example, is going to be a Vox AC30, which was popularized by the Beatles primarily and is like, it's a more British, Vox is a British company. Their amps are very like bright, very cutting, not super distorted, but just, yeah, like really bright and kind of twangy sounding. As opposed to, if we get rid of that, British. Yep, absolutely. As opposed to something like a Tweed Delight, which is going to be a Fender Tweed. So, and this is like, it's an old school American, Fender's American company. But you also call these like American amps. You'll see them billed as a lot. A Fender Tweed combo, which is more warm, rich, a lot less distorted. Like you use a Tweed on like classic rock, jazz, blues kind of guitar tones. So there is like a little bit of knowledge that comes with that. But you'll usually have like an amp head component and then a cabinet component. You don't really need to worry about that. You know, it gets into emulation of cabinets and micings and all that kind of stuff. You don't even really need to worry about that. All you need to really worry about is like just loading an amp. You know, things like Fire Breather, things like Hot Plex are going to be more distorted. Whereas things like Jazz Amp, that's probably a Roland Jazz chorus. Yep, absolutely. Are going to be a little bit more, you can run anything through. Oh yeah, absolutely. Here, let me grab a keyboard sound. Let's go back over to our keys channel here. Turn off all this nonsense. Piano would probably sound a little bit weird. But let's grab just a nice clean Rhodes. EPs. Yeah, LA Custom Rhodes. Here we go. Right? And then if we pull up Guitar Rig here, get out of here. Rig. So that's clean. That would be like just a direct signal out of the Rhodes. Let's give that like twang reverb is probably going to be a Fender Twin. So like immediately it just gives it a little bit of grit. Got tremolo on the keyboard. Let me turn that off too, just to make it absolutely as clean as possible. So you got that, but then you can start doing stuff with like guitar specific effects. So a lot of these amps will have like a spring reverb. And even that's like pretty pushed. So you could like pull that back a little bit in terms of the gain, turn off the bright switch. Dang, you're good. Oh, hardly. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. I am not a particularly good keyboard player, though. In the world of keyboard players, that is. I can get around. But so, like, what else could we add here? Like, you know, definitely, like, add a cool delay. You could add some chorus. You could add all different kinds of things. But these are all going to be a little bit more, you have like an octaver. Oh, weird. Hang on. Put you here. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to generate an extra note, an octave below. You can get some ripping like bass sounds here. That's actually a really cool sound. And you get to just kind of, when the offering plate comes around. I mean, you know, if anybody's feeling like a Prime sub or something, I will never say no. What does swapping the order around do? Swapping the order around changes the order of the signal chain. So the way it's set up right now, it goes top to bottom. And you got to think of it as if you're using analog gear, right? So we've got a Fender Rhodes keyboard, right? And in the real world, that would just have like a 1/4-inch guitar cable, like this one, coming out of it and going into wherever it goes into. And the first thing that it goes into is going to be the first thing in the chain. So this octaver, this is a Boss OC2 signal flow, exactly. This is a Boss OC2 octave pedal. So that's the first thing it plugs into. From there, it's going to go out of that pedal, plug into an amp. And then from there, it's going to go out of the amp or maybe the microphone in front of the amp into like a delay rack unit. But you could also put this delay and treat the delay like a pedal. So now it's going into an octave pedal, then it's going into a delay pedal, then that's going into an amp, going into a microphone, giving us sound. So there's certain things that it won't affect too terribly much. But like, for example, think about if we were to put an EQ on something and EQ the dry signal of a keyboard or a guitar or any other instrument and then send it into an amplifier, the amp is going to react to the changes that you make on the EQ as opposed to putting that EQ onto the microphone that's picking up the sound of the amplifier, right? One of those is going to push an EQ'd signal into an amp, which might make the amp distort differently, might push more gain into the amp and make it break up faster, like distort a little bit faster or saturate faster. If you put that EQ on the amp instead, you're going to be EQing that amplified signal. All the sound of the amplifier is what you're going to be EQing in addition to what's coming through the amplifier. Does that make sense? So I use a variety of different guitar amp sims all the time. Like, it sounds really cool on snare drum. It's a great trick for like to blend in parallel. Take your snare samples or your snare track or whatever, double it, put an amp on one, and then like blend the two of them. And like we can even sort of do that here. If I have a good, not really. That's actually not a great. Well, I can just pull up a snare sample. Here, hang on. Give me a second, and then we'll take a look at a slides track here in a moment. But this is cool. This is good conversation. Samples, yes. Just give me a whatever snare sound. Yeah, sure. Black Beauty. Great sounding snare drum. So here's just like a whatever acoustic snare drum sample. And let's like copy this out and sort of make a little 2/4 groove with it here. And give me a loop. So let's say that's our snare drum in our song. And then if we duplicate that and take this second one and put Guitar Rig on the second one, and then throw it through like a real aggressive distorted amp of some kind. Let's go with like a Marshall thing, which I think is going to be our, real. But if you blend them together, this actually isn't even like the best example because this is a very ringy snare sample. But like you could take those together, and this is very, abridged. You would want to tune things in far more than this. And then throw it through a nice compressor, like this Acme Opticom, for example. You can get some very, very interesting sounds. Again, this is not like the best example because it's kind of this is adding a bunch of weird rumble to it, which we don't necessarily love. But let's see if we can find a better fit here. Yeah, like Marshall 800. Oh, there we go. That's nice. So even just as a flavor, there's the snare on its own. There's bringing that amp signal in. Could be a thing. You never know. Like, it just gets very fun to play with this kind of stuff. And it gets very fun to use it very creatively and be like, there's no rule in any book or in any country that says you can't run a snare drum through a guitar amp or a keyboard or in anything else, a vocal, whatever. And you can use it all as flavor and texture to just make things a little bit more interesting. So anyways, sorry, we're a little bit far off the point here, but endless trial and error, absolutely, and endless creativity. So yeah, I think you don't have to go crazy because I think like the bones of what you've got is really, really good. I just think more variation, bottom line, throughout the tune. Some textural variation in the sounds, a couple of drum fills, maybe, your piano's doing some slightly different things, your bass line changing a little bit over the course of the whole tune. But there's a whole bunch of creative ideas also that you can use to do all of those things. So Yeah, that's what I would say. And then, yeah, I definitely like if you can find a good rapper to collab with, I think this will be a great track. But to Manism's point, I love that you are doing old school hip hop like this. I love old school hip hop like this. It's extremely, stuff like this is very near and dear to my heart for sure. Yeah, ear candy, exactly. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. On that note, um, we got to check out who is next in queue. Slide. What's up, buddy? Let's check out your tune. Let's see here. Level 3 producer. Play a little bit of piano. Very good. FL Studio we're working in. Looking for feedback specifically on the mix and the master. I'm just a vocalist, but I need to send mix notes to my engineer. Outro will get harmonies and backgrounds. Okay, good to know. Let's check it out.
Eyes closed from the white noise, I've been so numb, face down. My thoughts weigh so much now, lights out. I lost vision with the part that's healing. We're sinking in the deep end, always. Nobody couldn't tell me what to feel. And these nights, I don't know what's really real. Yeah, I know I fell on my knees, but I just wish you could see me now. My head is in the clouds right now, and it feels like a breeze. I've been so up, I finally now feel at peace. Face off when I wake up, I don't feel much nightfall. It's so different with the mask off, I know. For some reason when I press I get a downfall.
Can you tell me at all about the vocal chain that you use to record, like what mic, and kind of how the vocal was recorded and then processed a little bit?
I think I finally got it all worked out. I think you barely recognize me now. I can't help but keep my walls down, hoping that you see me, even though you can't right now. I got the world in my hands, I finally live in a dream. I think I really had it all turned upside down, I just needed to breathe. My head is in the clouds right now.
Nice. This is also a Rode. Rode makes great stuff.
I just wish you could see me now. I still can't play these thoughts inside my head. That's the only time I felt the way I did. I was bleeding. I was bleeding. And now I finally found myself again. Oh.
Get nice pipes, man. You sound great. Sick. Great track. Very, very, very nice. Well written. I love your melodies. Your vocal performance is excellent. Notes for your mix guy. Here's what I would say. And I always, with this kind of stuff, I will give you the full high level mix rundown here because it's worth it. The track is extremely quality, so it's great. I love the production as well. Like there's really nice synth tones, nice harmonic movement with everything. Very, very good. So where do I want to start? And this is, I always preface all of this by saying that this is just one mix engineer's opinion. This is not, a lot of this stuff is more subjective. Beat wise, in terms of the mix for the beat,
Nights I don't know what's really real.
snare is getting a little bit lost to me. I think the tone of everything in the mix is excellent. I don't hear any frequency masking going on. I don't hear anything clashing. I just want a little more snare drum. Kick is really nice and punchy. Low end is good and tight. It's not overwhelming, but it's definitely like thick and subby in a really pleasant way. Chakra, what's up? Yes, please, by all means. I love your stuff. Please. Yes. Yeah, Chakra track. Excellent. Oh. Yeah, just a little more snare. Just get it cracking a little bit more transient definition on it would be great. Vocal wise, I think your engineer did a really good job of there's definitely tuning on it, but it's really tasteful and well done tuning. It doesn't feel too heavy-handed.
Chakra Bro wants feedback on their song.
There's a few spots on your vibratos where Melodyne's fighting you a little bit. Not a huge deal. On that big run, you did the tuning yourself. Okay. On the big run where I stopped and was like, you've got great pipes. Where is that? This.
And now I finally found myself again.
On stuff like this where you really start riffing, you got to be real careful with your tuning because it becomes very audible, that it's trying really hard to track you as you do all those acrobatics. It's very impressive, but I always err on the side of actually less tuning for stuff like that, because the more you add, the more, and especially if you're doing multiple layers of tuning, which I know is really popular these days, I would back off just for that. Even if you're a little pitchy, like hitting a few of those notes in there, let it be natural, man. You have a really nice natural timbre to your voice, and you're clearly a very, very technically capable singer. I wouldn't stress about each individual little bit and slice of that whole thing. Like, I would rather hear the emotion of it and have it be a little bit pitchier through those runs, other than hear the tuning fighting you, right? And like, I get it. It's tuning is the thing that you do now. A lot of the pop artists that I've worked with, you always tune the snot out of everything. But I also always encourage vocalists, like, don't, if you want to look at music, you're going to find a shitload of vocalists who are super pitchy and also incredibly successful. My favorite example is Bob Dylan. Radically different style of music, obviously, but the point kind of stands. Like, people are less, and you didn't even go overboard, because the rest of it's really quite tasteful. Like, it still sounds really pretty natural through most of the rest of the track. It's just that one spot through those couple of phrases right there where you're really going for it. I'm like, just let it be you. If you're a little pitchy, who gives a shit? Like, what you're laying it down for us, and I want to get that full experience out of your take, because it's a great take. Imperfection gives character. Absolutely. Agreed. 100%. Vocal wise, I do feel like I would hesitate to say they're quiet, but they are a little low in the mix for this style of music. I can hear you clear as day. So it's not a thing where I'm like, oh, you need to bring them up. But in terms of balance, you're very much here with beat and you. This style of music, I would usually push a little bit more here with you and beat. You're perfectly audible. If you're happy with where it's sitting, I think it's great. If I were mixing this tune, I would pop you up 3 dB over the rest of the track. I would also, and this I think is a little bit more of an objective thing, your vocal feels very dark to me. I'm missing a lot of like air band detail up in the sort of 12K and up, 10K and up region. I want to hear more breath. I want to hear more detail, more top end, more air, more presence. The hairs on the inside of your ear kind of vibe.
All worked out. I think you barely recognize me now.
That's also, like, again, that's me as a mix engineer. I love that vibe with vocals. Not everybody does. Some people like a more controlled top end to their vocals. So none of this stuff is me saying it sounds bad, because it sounds awesome. These are just, points that I would, if you gave this to me to mix, this is stuff that I would go into into the session and do and see what you thought. So
I can't help but keep my walls down, hoping that you see me, even though you can't right now.
opinion on 2-track mixing versus having the instrumental tracked out. If you're 2-track, that's not really mixing at that point. You're kind of, that becomes almost more like you're mixing a vocal and then you're mastering a beat alongside the vocal. We can only really mix, but in its truest sense, if we have the stems, if we have the track outs for the original beat, which is something back when I was doing a ton of mixing for stuff like this years ago, when I was on Fiverr. That was always the challenge, is I would get these guys and they're like, yeah, I did all my vocals, but it's just like a stereo beat from YouTube. And sometimes the beats were killers. Sometimes the beats were like not mixed very well, or they were like super overbaked in the master and they were mastered to like -4 LUFS or whatever. And I was like, I really, there's a ton of frequency masking in this synthesizer with your voice or something. And there's nothing I can do about it as a mix engineer if it's just a stereo lump. And we have like better tools now, like spectral and dynamic EQ, spectral compressors, dynamic EQs, all that kind of stuff that can help. We have imaging tools that can kind of help, but like, yeah, as far in my opinion, as far as I am concerned, if all you're starting with is a 2-track beat, that's not mixing at that point. The beat's already mixed. The tune is already mostly mixed. You can do what you do on the vocals, but if you have issues where that beat is clashing with anything, you have one solution, and that's to treat your vocals differently. And sometimes that's not possible. I remember a number of occasions where somebody would send me a beat and it would have a synth or a keys part or even a guitar part that was like dead center and super active in like 500 to 5K, like all in that like true mids to upper mids to low highs. That's where your vocal sits. And so if you have a beat and you have an element that is in the center of that beat that is really present in that frequency spectrum, it's going to be a goddamn nightmare to get your vocals to sit correctly because you're going to get a ton of frequency masking, right? All the distortion or character of that synth part or that guitar part is going to directly interfere with the ability of the listener to discern the lyrics, to hear clearly what the melody of the voice is doing, or, if it's just straight rap, like the enunciation on the consonants, like it all clashes. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I can spread my vocals out in the stereo image and try to get it around that, but that's a terrible way to treat vocals. Wide vocals never really work. You get phasing issues, causes all kinds of problems. So always, if you have the option, or if you are like uploading beats, even if you're trying to like go get collabs for free or whatever, always save your track outs. And when you're making your beats, even if you just fly in a placeholder vocal that gets deleted, make sure that you're leaving really, really good room in that sort of center spectrum of your mix to make sure that if somebody does take your beat and use it, that there is sonic room in the production for a lot of vocal content to sit. So anyways, kind of my thoughts there. But no, Slide. Great track, man. Really, really, really nice job on this. Like I said, your voice sounds fantastic. If you don't mind me asking, what like age bracket are you in? You don't have to answer specifically if you're not comfortable, of course. But I ask because I always encourage people on this stuff. Based on this, you are good enough to do. You're 26. Oh, dude. Okay, and so you may already be in this box. If you wanted to go get work as a professional vocalist, you could. I just want you to know that. I've been in the business for 15 years. A lot of my work has been touring and like playing with wedding bands and stuff. If you were interested, you could go out tomorrow if you're in like any kind of a big city or near a big city. If you went out and wanted to start networking and go do like wedding gigs and make pretty good money doing it, you could. You absolutely could. I know here in New York, you could audition and you're in Virginia. Okay. Not a bad market. DC is really big. There's a lot of like corporate events and stuff that go on around there. I'm up in New York. I have a buddy in the DC area who's here on stream with us a bunch, knows Bora, who's a really great pop punk, kind of post-punk singer-songwriter. But yeah, if that's ever something that interested you, I'm just saying you're definitely good enough to go do that. And weddings pay real well. If you get in with a good wedding band, like usually 500 to 1,000 a gig is pretty common these days with a good wedding band. Yeah, you got pipes. Yes, you do. My buddy is a guy who's connected with Sony who just hired me to do some vocal recordings. Awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic, man. Very good. Well, do sing stuff. You just got on Love of Blind. Dude, get in my Discord. Hit me up. Let's work together on some shit. Seriously, please do. Do ! Discord. Get in Discord. Ship me a DM. I would love to be connected. I always need good vocalists. That's for sure. I was just... thank you, Super. Perfect timing. I was just talking with one of my game clients, not for a male vocalist, for a female vocalist, but I frequently need stuff like that. And then also, of course, goes without saying, if you ever need mix, production, anything like that, I'm sure you've got people, but get at me in Discord. That applies to anybody, not just you. Hit me up. I'm always around. Anyways, give Toast a treat. We can probably do that. Thanks, Birdland. Birdland, you always look out for the cat. I love it. Toast. Boom. Toast has been treated. But in any case, killer track. You sound great. I hope those notes were helpful. Keep going. Keep doing it. Just joined. Excellent. Yeah, shoot me a DM. Let's connect, man. How old is Toast? Toast is, by our best guess, about 4. So the story behind Toast is he was whatever the people call it, the like global cat selection network or the cat distribution network or whatever people joke about. That's how we got Toast. He literally wandered into our backyard back in Colorado when we were living in Denver and just decided one day that he was our cat. We were not looking for a cat necessarily. We were open to having one, but he just walked into our backyard. Somebody had, I guess, abandoned him or he was lost or something, and no collar, no chip. And he was just like, hello, I will be your cat now. And we named him Toast because he is the color of perfectly toasted bread. Feel free to spam the shit out of all the emotes that I made of him. He's pretty great. We like Toast. We like Toast a lot. But anyways, yeah, thanks for sharing, buddy. Much obliged. Okay, let's move on to Chakra, and then I owe Super a drum solo. But Super, you have to tell me what you want me to solo to. Or just, you usually say anything, but I have to ask every time, because you spent the channel points, so you get to pick. Very important. We'll jam some drums, then we'll see, we will see where that leads us. This is from Chakra D&B. One of my favorites here in the channel. I'm very excited. Duly noted. Where's that Vince McMahon meme of him freaking out over the stripper or whatever the hell that thing was? The world's tiniest groove. Yo, Sample, what's up, buddy? Great job, Chakra. Your stuff is always fantastic. I have two thoughts for you. Not specifically for this track. There was one moment. Also, if Chakra, let me know. Is it okay if I just play drums to this? For Super wants a drum solo. He redeemed channel points at the beginning of stream, and I need something to play drums to, and I want to play drums to this. So if that's okay with you, I will, just for fun, just to be a crazy goofball. But there was a moment at the beginning where you establish the first groove, right? And then you take it away. I would let it breathe more. And this plays into my kind of second sort of related idea. This is very short, in my opinion. You do such nice sound design. Your grooves are so nice. Your mixes are so clean. I just want more. I think I've said that about your tracks before. I just want more of them. I want this to be 4 or 5 minutes long. Like never, and I'm guilty of this myself. Never shy away from just like laying into a groove and just letting it be there for like a while. Because as a listener, especially of this kind of stuff, like this is more, this isn't like a sing-along like pop tune or something like that where you want to be really punchy. You've got a bunch of lyrics and a story that you're trying to get out and stuff. This is like vibing music. I put this on when I'm playing No Man's Sky in VR. And like I prefer when tracks like this are 4 or 5 minutes and there's just big, long, awesome sections of just like laying into tasty sound design, and I can just kind of be in that vibe for a little while. So never like be afraid of that. Never feel like you have to be super snappy with a ton of transitions or like shy away from things being 32 bars, 64 bars of just like grooving, a full, 30, 45 seconds, a minute of just like, a few little fills, changing things up there, some ear candy, sure. But in terms of just like drops and breaks, and risers and builds and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, never be afraid to just like be confident in your grooves, because your grooves are just fantastic. Okay, and this also is, I'm going to play drums to this because it's just fantastic. It's so good. Why do I not have sound here? Oh, because those are soloed. That's why. Oh, and we need compression, of course. Where's my XLA? I love this compressor so much. It sounds so good. But Super wants a drum solo, so he's going to get a crazy drum and bass drum solo. Because why not? We can, right? Again, it's not illegal. Oh, so we're going to pull up the drum and bass kit. One of my many drum and bass kits. This high energy type of music, you definitely want to extend the peak points longer for people to go nuts. Yeah, and just like live in the energy of it, going to see how this goes because I'm not warmed up yet today. But we'll see how it goes. But I just want to listen to that track again. Like I said, I want it to be longer, so we'll just do it again. Whee! There was some terrible slop in there, but there were some good moments. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys. There's some Whiplash. Straight Ahead is not my strong point. It's also the wrong kit for it. Like all this really like very intricate ghosty, and then you gotta like Straight Ahead's hard. It's a lot of like vocabulary that you gotta learn. Funnily enough, that movie Whiplash, well, two things. A, it gives most musicians instant PhD, or PTSD, especially if you're somebody who went to college, which I did not. But I know a lot of guys who are like, I can't watch it. I can't do it. But it's that character, J.K. Simmons' character in that movie, is actually based on a real guy. It's kind of an amalgamation of a couple of real people. The one that most people think that it is, and this is part of it, is Buddy Rich, who is a great jazz drummer, one of the most famous jazz drummers of all time, one of the most technically capable drummers in history, who is famous for incredible feats of, very technically impressive drumming, and led the Buddy Rich Big Band for many years. And he was known as like an absolute tyrant. Scared of whiplash. Yeah, absolutely. But Buddy Rich was known to be that kind, just like a raging asshole perfectionist, would like attack. He got in trouble multiple times for physically attacking band members. But the other guy, and this is really who that movie's based on, that nobody really knows about unless you're like deep in the jazz world, is a guy called Ed Soph, who's the dean of the percussion department, and I think the dean of the music department, or was, at UNT, the University of North Texas in Denton. And that's like directly who that is based on. And I actually met Ed Soph and have a story that is very appropriate and fitting. When I was 16, my parents sent me to the Jamie Aebersold jazz camp, which is a camp for teenagers who want to be jazz musicians. So I was doing a ton of music all through high school. I was in jazz band, I was in concert band, orchestra, choir, all the things. And I was really interested in jazz. And so my parents sent me to this Jamie Aebersold camp. Jamie Aebersold is also very, very well known in the jazz education world. He did a series of like backing track books and like for jazz musicians to like be able to practice stuff too. And he runs this camp. He's an alto sax player. Nerd. I mean, it's true. Yeah, you would have been like 10 when this happened, Zach. So he has this camp. Kids go there. They like put you in bands. You learn tunes. They do perform. It's band camp, and they get a bunch of really great, well-known jazz musicians to teach the whole thing. So I went there as a bass player, playing electric, and I played a little bit upright, but mostly was focusing on electric. And but I'm also a drummer, obviously, and I was a drummer back then. So there was a day I had been there for like 3 or 4 days. This is at University of Kentucky, Louisville. This is where the camp was being held. Jazz conversion camp. That's really funny, Joffrey. That's funny. Sort of, I guess you could look at it that way. But no, so I've been there for 3 or 4 days. I was playing with all these great drummers, watching all these great drummers. And I was like itching. I was like, I really just want to like play drums for a minute. Because I've been playing bass the whole time. I'm like, I want to play drums. And so I snuck off. This is, it's a college. We're in the music department of a college. So there's practice rooms everywhere. Practice rooms, generally speaking, are sort of public areas. They have instruments and kits and stuff. No worries, super. Sounds good. Have a good evening, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Get some good rest. You've been working hard. And we'll catch up soon on Discord. Don't worry. We'll talk about stuff. But so I kind of sneak off during lunch one day and go find a practice room and sit down at a kit, which like the kits are owned by the school. They're there to be played. They're there for people to, what's up, Chubby? Am I not allowed to use Gen Alpha slang? Is that the new rule? So I sneak off at lunch. I go find a practice kit. These are, again, as I was saying, they're like meant for people to use. It's not like some guy's personal kit that is being kept under lock and key. They're just open rooms that are there for people to go practice music. Thanks, super, on the YouTube side. And so I sit down, I start playing a kit. I'm just screwing around, whatever. And suddenly I hear this screaming coming from the doorway. And I look up and it's Ed Soph, this educator, this instructor guy. And he absolutely unleashed at me. I mean, full on screaming how disrespectful it is that I would ever think I would be allowed to play a drum set anywhere for any reason. And all of that, which is like, okay, sure, whatever. I didn't like sign into the practice room or whatever. I was also like 15 when this is happening. But then he gets into how I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible drummer. I should quit music. I am, a disgrace to the very concept of making music, all this stuff. I mean, he just screamed at me for like 5 to 10 minutes straight. Just screamed himself hoarse, red in the face, sweating, and threw me out. And was like, I'm going to get you thrown out of camp and all this stuff. Of course, that didn't happen. But at the time, I did not know who this guy was. I was just like, clearly he's like one of the instructors. I knew he was one of the teachers, but I didn't know that he had this reputation. Come to find out years later, that's Ed Solf from UNT. And I've talked to people who studied under him. And that's who he is, J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. That's his whole vibe. Like, he runs his students into the ground. He berates people. He abuses people. But he's like one of the best jazz educators in the world. And all of the guys, like Heath Carlock studied under him. All the Snarky Puppy dudes studied under him. Like, he's taught and trained a lot of very, very high-profile jazz musicians. But that is actually who that character in that movie is based on, is that is a real person who actually, I don't think he throws chairs at people's heads. That's a bit much. And I don't think he slaps people. The least jazzy person alive. Yeah, 100%. But that's the funny thing with jazz, like, for being such a like artsy and like kind of like mellow, well, not always mellow, but it's got that kind of an image, right? It's this very like hip, cool, like, oh, let's go to the jazz club. Let's like have some nice cocktails and like eat a good steak and listen to some swing and bebop. And, the culture within jazz is insanely cutthroat, insanely competitive, insanely cliquey. Jazz musicians are the most aggressively competitive musicians I have ever worked with, by and large. There is a huge culture of like there's this whole idea, and it's happened to me many times on gigs and in sessions and stuff, where like if you can't hang, you get vibed out. And what that means is like people will just kind of be assholes to you. No, your fingers aren't bleeding, try again. Yeah, like I have hung out with people where like if you show up and you're like, hey, let's play something, they'll just start calling jazz standard. Cherokee, 1, 2, 1, 2. And if you don't know these incredibly complex, incredibly difficult songs totally off the top of your head, and you can improvise over them, you can solo over them, them upside down, and there's hundreds of songs in the jazz standard songbook. They kind of go, this guy's not a real musician. He's not serious. He's not. And they treat you weird and you aren't allowed to come hang out. You're not one of the cool kids. It's incredibly cliquey. It's incredibly mean. It's incredible. Yeah, exactly, Juby. It's incredibly standoffish, and it's really not. It's not a good vibe, especially in New York. My God, especially in New York. There's always like, and it's like these guys, who spend 12 hours a day practicing literally until their fingers bleed. And then they play through their fingers bleeding until they don't bleed anymore. And only then are you a real musician. It's lame. It's stupid. It's weird. It's gross. A lot of snobbery in a field. Oh, it's like the height of snobbery. A field that is perceived to be laid back. Very, very much so. Men. All right, fellas. Mostly, yes. It's mostly like just out of college, like 23 to 25-year-old dudes who spend all of their money and all of their time sitting in Smalls in the West Village, a very famous jazz club, waiting for their opportunity to sit in and play, giant steps or whatever as fast as they possibly can. Is it too late to send in a track you made yesterday? Absolutely, Sample. You missed out. Whatever you do, do not do exclamation point feedback in chat. I'm so upset that you would even ask. On Feedback Friday, nonetheless. Whatever you do, do not type exclamation point feedback and fill out the form. And I absolutely will not check out your track. That would be the last thing ever that would happen here on stream. /S. The Donnelly speedrun competition. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. No, obviously I'm kidding, Sample. Please. I would love to hear it. on Friday of all days. The nerve. In fact, it's the last thing that will ever happen in general. It's true. If anyone else submits for feedback, I'm quitting streaming, quitting music. Gonna go open a restaurant. Now I'm warm.
ZEDTV wants feedback on their song.
Zach, is that for real, or are you just doing that for Sample Talk? Did you make a track? I know you've dabbled in track making before. Oh, you just wanted the link to come up. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. No, of course, Sample. I'd love to hear your jam. And anybody else watching as well, of course. If anybody has a track they want feedback on, yeah, we can. That's fine. We can just grab it from there. You've dabbled but have nothing new. Indeed. Let's check out Sample Talk's tune.
DNTKN0 Music wants feedback on their song.
Excellent. I was hoping you would swing by. I DM'd you. Sounding great, man. Don't know, and I have been chatting in Discord. Oh.
Anything, yeah, argue me, anything like you want. Anything, yeah, the pictures, beats, now clock. Say yeah, your favorite song. Lose it, could that a night pass?
Sample. I'm trying to remember, and forgive me. I know you've submitted stuff before, but I'm spacing. What all did you do production wise here? Did you do like the beat and everything, or is it just the vocals? Awesome. Killer, man.
What's going on? Take a picture, shoot a kid, just moment. What's going on? Take a picture, shoot a kid, just moment. What's going on? Take a picture, shoot a kid, just moment. What's going on? Take a picture, even the nice guy running through the world.
Very, very nice. Don't know. I don't think the vocals are off. He's singing a... Oh my God. So many effects on right now. Try not to use repitch, not Melodyne this time. Okay, interesting. The note that Sample is singing is like a flat 7 of the chord. So chord progression here is like there we go, E, D, B minor, essentially, is kind of what's going on. And over that, he's singing mostly just the note D. Kind of that kind of a thing. Which is very cool. But yeah, it is like, it's a slightly dissonant note after a fashion. It's the flat 7 of the key, or of the key center. But it's hip. I think it sounds very cool, personally. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. overall, I really like all your sound choices. It's cool. It's got kind of retro vibes. A little that like really bright kind of bell-y keys sound is very 80s. I like that a lot. I think your drums are a little quiet. Technically I'm right, but not right at the same time. Sort of. I mean, it's in key. But it's like, you know, if you were singing the root note of this progression, would sound like that. If you were seeing what Sample is singing, which is that D, that is the flat 7 of the E minor chord, the root of the D major chord, the 9th of the C chord, and then the minor 3rd of the B minor, right? So it's kind of changing, the harmony of it is changing. But 2 of those chords, it is in a, it's not one of the primary chord tones of 2 of the chords. Yeah, if you want to feel really fancy Sample, you can tell people that you're doing something called contrapuntal elaboration on static harmony. That's what we call it when we do, like, we just suspend 2 notes in space, right? Or like C and G, let's say. And then we just start moving chords around underneath it. We call that contrapuntal elaboration on static harmony. It's just a really dumb and very, very highbrow way of saying you're playing a note or a couple of notes and then moving chords and key centers around underneath it. Anyways, so the mix was difficult. Everything is in my dance floor, starting to sound like a jazz. I am a jazz person, Juby, fully. Your favorite song, lose it. Maybe it's not as much that the drums are too quiet. I think maybe just the synths overall, like the non-drum element. The vocals are in a nice place. The drums might actually be in a nice place. Maybe the other elements just come down a little bit, not by much. Yeah, 1 to 2 dB. I think that would be a good call because the synths are just very big and present, which is nice because they're nice synths. But I think feels like they're overpowering the drums a little bit, especially in those sections. Everything is in my dance floor, go to hippie night. Everything, you collide, go talk about getting my pain. Rainy, 하지 게 double rain. Save it, get a smile. Nice. I really like that vocal line. I think that's hip. One thing you could do with the vocal that would be kind of cool, if you felt like it, maybe the last time through, instead of going, you do this. Do that with your voice. No, 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 no. Because that over those chords sound very, 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 very nice. Yeah, synths down. Another thing, and this gets a little more technical, I feel like you've got some muddiness in the low end of your mix, just a little bit. And that's very common. Happens to all of us. All of us get a little muddy sometimes. The trick for that is, and this is a great note for anyone listening who ever has to mix anything at all, high pass filters are your friend. How's it going? Lil Skibbity, Ohio Rizzler 6'7". Wow. I just won Gen Alpha bingo. simply by reading your username. Listen to Going Deaf. So, Lil Skibbity, first of all, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'd be happy to give you feedback on your track. We aren't really like a space for promo in that way. But if you would like a professional producer / mix engineer's take on your track, I would be more than happy to check it out. If you do ! Feedback in chat, they'll give you a little form that you can fill out real quick, little Google Drive. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, so do ! Feedback, and it'll get you this Google form. If you can just fill that out real quick, tells me a little bit more about you, what DAW you work in, what you're looking for feedback on for the track, etc. And then it'll give you a spot to put the link. That would be great. So yeah, ! Feedback, fill that out for me, and that will get you in queue. High pass filter, is it a plugin? Let's talk about high pass filtering. This is great, actually. Don't know. Thank you. A little bit of passion fruit LaCroix. This is going to be any of you guys with mixing. Some of you might already know this. But this is going to be an excellent, excellent thing for you guys to know about and think about. So let's, just for the sake of argument, I'm just going to lay down a quick keyboard loop. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, so you're far back in the queue, Skibbity. So if you'd like to stick around and learn some cool stuff about music production, you're welcome to. But it's going to be a couple of minutes before we get to your track. So, you will stick. Okay, great. By all means. Okay, so let's look at high passing here. This is very, very easy, but it's something all of you guys who are mixing should know how to do and should be doing on every track that you work on. So let's say that we're working here with a keyboard part. And let's say, we're pretending kind of that our mix has drums and all kinds of other stuff in it. One thing that'll end up happening is the more elements that you add, especially if you're working with like big synth sounds, if you're working with lots of different keyboard sounds, guitar sounds, if you have dense production, all of our sounds, pretty much no matter what they are going to contain a lot of information that isn't necessarily in areas where they need to contain information, right? So if we look at this on an RTA, we have some sound that's way down here at like 30 hertz, 60 hertz, all kinds of stuff, right? The actual meat of the sound doesn't really kick in until 100 hertz. So this is fine on its own. But when you start layering a ton of different elements together, all up on top of each other.
DNTKN0 Music said 200 hertz the Mud Freak.
Yep, absolutely. 200 to 250 is a spot where things build up very, very commonly because a lot of different sound sources, from snare drums to vocals to guitars to keyboards to organs to strings, all are going to produce a lot of sound somewhere in that 200 to 250 hertz region. But what we can do is on all of our sources that don't have a ton of important information, so like your kick drum, your bass synth, right? These are going to be down 50 hertz, 60 hertz, 100 hertz. We want to keep that. But for something like this keyboard part, you can do this on pretty much any EQ plugin. There's lots of specific filter plugins, but what you're looking for is HPF or high pass filter. And it's called that because, or in this case, this is called low cut filter here. And you can immediately see exactly what it does. It's just going to clean out and remove those low end frequencies. So I can set this to right down at the bottom end of where what we call the fundamental, right? So the fundamental, if we just play a note, see this big peak here? That is the true fundamental tone. All of these are the upper harmonics that give our sounds character. So you can see when I play that fundamental, an octave up, now that tone is right up here. And if I go down here, it's even lower, right? Now that peak is down here, but we're filtering that out a little bit. We're turning that way, way, way down. So what this does, 30 hertz doesn't matter. Some people just cut those out unless your track will be played on certain speakers, then it does. Very good. Absolutely. That's very true. If you want to do a like a club mix for something, like huge club subwoofers can go down to 25, 30 hertz. Most consumer speakers don't go below about 40. So I tend to not filter when I'm mastering in that way because I never know what people are going to do with it. Some people have big crazy subwoofer rigs in their cars. Who knows? But yeah. Make sure you duck the highs for club mixes for sure. Not a bad idea either. Really, if you're trying to do club mixes, you should get a PA system and have a PA system in your room. And even if you listen to it quietly, it'll show you because they sound radically different than studio monitors or headphones or anything else. But yeah, doing this, high passing, you should be doing this on literally every single source in your mix that isn't a bass focused instrument. You should be doing this on vocals, all your keys, all your synths, and you want to do it one by one. There's no magic number frequency. Do it at 100 hertz for everything. Pull it up on an EQ, listen to your sound, watch it, and just, find where it's natural for that to happen. Because this is now going to, it's going to clean out this low end so that the only things that you're hearing down there under 200 hertz, under 100 hertz is like your kick drums and your basses. And it lets that low sub, the low end of your mix, be really tight and really precise because there's no competition, right? There's not like in this keyboard sound, there's like a little woofy air from recording the samples or whatever. We want to clean that out from all the samples because it's not needed. Same thing applies if you have like really subby instruments, or maybe you've recorded a bass guitar through an amplifier, let's say. And you really just want that low end subbiness. You don't need detail. You don't need air. It's just the bass sound. You can low pass and clean up your high end. This is also really, really, really effective if you have stuff that has like a weird buzz or a weird hiss to it. Maybe it wasn't, you weren't able to record it super well. We can do the opposite and use a low pass or a high cut filter, which looks like this. It's the same thing, but on the opposite end of the frequency spectrum. So if we roll this back, you can hear it's getting darker. And it's isolating those lower frequencies. So if you've got something that's, like I said, got a lot of hiss, a lot of like sparkly top end, really harsh stuff that you don't necessarily want, you can do that. But then where it really gets fun is when you actually combine these two. We call this band pass filtering. And this is great if you ever need to make something sound like old school, like it's being played through a telephone. We can use this to focus independent elements in a mix in a really cool way. See how that's now super tight and real dry? Like especially if we pull compression on it. Like that's now a very tight, controlled, really hip keyboard sound, but it's not gonna get in the way of anything in your mix. There's a ton of room up top for other stuff. There's a ton of room down at the bottom for other stuff, but you can still hear enough of the instrument to hear the chords it's playing, all that kind of stuff, right? So all with just these two very simple tools. High pass filter, low pass filter. That's it. You combine that, creates a band pass filter. Mr. Nathan, are you saying that the information and artifacting from frequencies that you don't need clashes with other elements? That's exactly what I am saying. That is exactly what I am saying. When my song, you are quite pushy, aren't you? Let's see here. Well, you haven't filled out the feedback form yet, so I am going to need you to do that before we can take a listen to it. So like I said, exclamation point feedback will get you a link to that. If you want to go ahead and fill that out, I would be more than happy to check it out because you are next in line. But yes, I do need that feedback form to get you into queue. If you do exclamation feedback in chat, it will get you the link to the Google form. Yes, of course, Sample. Anytime. Yeah, Jesus, it's 5:30 in Japan. Okay, yeah, go to sleep. Go to sleep, buddy. Send link. Do exclamation point in feedback in chat, and it will get you the link. Good night, Sample. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Here. Seems you are... I got to do feedback to get the link. Yes, that's correct. You have to do this. Here's the link for you.
Anathanskid wants feedback on their song.
That is correct. Like how when I set up my laptop to dual boot Windows, it was like, can we check your other drives? Something's wrong. Yeah, Windows likes to freak out about that, doesn't it? Somebody said something really good up here earlier that I feel like I missed. Mainism. I remember this one time, this one jazz saxophonist was talking to his friend while I was doodling on my horn in the hallway. And he goes, yeah, all the trumpet players are kind of bad. There's maybe one good one. Well, half the jazz alto saxophonists sounded the same. I didn't confront him, but it was a realization about the inflated sense of self. Yes, jazz players tend to have massive egos. Didn't come here to fill out forms? Okay. Well, that is what we do for feedback. Just so you know, little Skibbity Ohio Rizzler 67. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about how my stream works. Hi, I'm Nathan Scott. I do appreciate you tuning in. I'm a full-time professional music producer, composer, mix master engineer, multi-instrumentalist. And most of what my stream is about me doing paid client commission work. So I score indie video games, I do artist production, I mix records, I master records, I play on people's records, and we do sometimes do feedback for people. So I'll listen to your tune. The form is there, A, to help screen out AI music, because we can't really do anything for anybody who makes AI slop. But really it's so that I know like what DAW you're working in, what level you're at as a producer, how long you've been producing for, what instruments you play, how you went about producing the track. And that lets me do a technical breakdown for you and give you advice on how to make your tracks sound better, coming from years of experience. But mostly what my, so it's Feedback Friday. That's mainly what we're doing today. But usually my stream is me doing producing songs for video games, producing songs for artists, and talking through my workflow, DAW that I use, plugins, music theory, all that kind of stuff. I'm also going to start doing some live looping here pretty soon. This weekend is going to be the premiere of that. So this is not like a React channel. This is not a promote your stuff channel. It's nothing like that. So it's a more high level music production and music theory and songwriting kind of thing. So if you didn't come here to fill out forms, unfortunately, I cannot react to your track because I do need to know some things about you as a producer. Otherwise, I can't give you good feedback, right? I can't help you make the track as good as it can be. I also just generally, the feedback that we do isn't, sometimes it's stuff that people have already released. We do Skibbity Toilet fan theories though, right? We don't. Patience level infinite. Hey, I get it. It's, people want to promote their stuff. I totally understand, but it's not what we're about here. Usually what people send in is stuff that's like there is currently in production. Like it's just a snippet or part of an idea or what have you. Speaking of which, don't know, you're actually next in line on that front. So let's take a look. And I did watch your video that you sent me on Discord, don't know. And it sounds absolutely awesome. I'm assuming this is the track. This is where it's at now. Yeah. So we'll listen, and then I do have a couple of ideas watching your video and watching you work through it. I do have a couple of, speaking of someone, I do have a couple of ideas for you on it. Very, very simple, small things.
So I took back my heart and emptied sorrow. 'Cause who even knows if you love me tomorrow?
And actually, chat generally, I'm gonna go out of order here ever so slightly. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, don't know about this, and you specified it, you talked about it in your video. You're like, I love this. It didn't hit for me, I think, the way it's hitting for you, and it's totally a subjective thing, which is the double break, fake out, double build situation. So chat, as we're listening to this, I want you guys' opinions because I think it's a very cool idea. Personally, it didn't hit for me. I know it's hitting for you, and that's just a totally subjective thing, right? But I'm curious what chat thinks. So later on, somewhere around here, there is like a double build kind of fake out thing going on. That's cool in theory, but I want to know what you guys think of it. So just keep that in mind.
Everything's been taken out. I can't feel anything now. Hollow, hollow, hollow.
Give me the sound, we go. Give me the sound, we go deep.
Okay, I'm going to eat my own words. Actually, it's great. When I listened to it this morning in your video, I was like, I don't know if that hits, but it actually just kind of ends up feeling like one big, there's like a bit of fake out to it. It hit me differently this morning. I don't know why. Never mind. That's sick. It's great. In that case, because the one thing I was going to be is like, I feel like that might be a little bit too, you're not sure if you were on board with it? Okay, fair enough. It struck me as like unexpected and not in like the best way this morning when I listened to it. This time around, I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm more down with it, but it's interesting that it hit you that way, Chumanism. Like and it's not that it's like bad or wrong or anything like that. It's just a creative choice. And if you think it's dope, that's what matters because it's extremely well done. I will say that. You pulled it off perfectly. It's just one of those things like, you know, sometimes a singer-songwriter will come in and be like, hey, I wrote this song and it has a 10-bar chorus or whatever. And you're like, okay, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Let's hear it. And then you hear it and you're like, yeah, I hear what you're going for. It doesn't like hit me the right way. Felt more like a speed bump rather than a fake. Okay, interesting. Never done anything like it before, for sure. I think the double build-up is super cool in concept. Might need more contrast between them so it doesn't feel beige compared to the first build-up. That's actually a really good point, Joffrey. I like that. And another thing, now that we're talking about it, don't ever be afraid to just go space for a second. Throw in a bar that's literally just almost like not silence, but just like reverb tails, right? And just let the listener, like, it kind of gives you the feeling of like you're ripping around in your car or whatever, and you hit something, or snowboarding or something, I don't know, but you hit, and there's that second where you're like suspended. Maybe you're on a roller coaster and you're literally floating for a second, and then it drops back down. You do that like there's parts that hint at that, but I don't think you're committing to it necessarily, where you just go, nope, we're just nothingness, just air and wash. That's a great way to make things hit really, really hard. So that's an idea for you to incorporate in there if you want. The only other thing I was going to add is over this groove at the very end.
Give me the sound, we go deep.
Literally just a ride, a really gritty killer ride sample off eighth accents. That I think would be a really great way to make this last section different than the previous sections and groove even harder. Just that, because it's more or less the same groove that you've got going down back here. You might have a couple of extra layers, but I want something. Cowbell with ride. Yeah, that could be really cool for sure. Just something really high, really almost piercing up the top, clang, 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 to just like, throw it down that much harder. I think it'd be really cool. Coming back to what we talked about earlier in stream, love for this song to be twice as long. Yeah, I mean, I think there's room for that for sure. And it's 3 minutes, which is pretty good. You could target 4, maybe, if you have more ideas. I think it works as it is now, but like, it's a great vibe. Love the gritty synths. Agreed. And also I forgot to call out, Austral. Welcome back. Good to see you. I think you've been in here before, Austral. Yes, please let me know, Austral, in chat, when you submit, for feedback, and, I will absolutely, take a look at it. That is what Feedback Friday is all about, after all. Yes, you did? Okay, great. We will check that out in a second. So annoyed. Why can't I hear anything on my laptop when you export audio? I don't know, Juby. I'm so sorry. I wish I could help. But sadly, I can't. Some 2015 vibe stuff. My God, we're already saying 2015 is like an era. I'm so old, you guys. It's bad. More or less playing around, but longer means more good music. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. I agree wholeheartedly. Oh no, guys. Skibbity Rizzler, Ohio, little Skibbity toilet left. They're not in stream anymore. So sad they didn't fill out the feedback form. I was so excited to hear what they were going to do. But it seems they've left chat. They got fed up that I wouldn't react to their song. They wouldn't play by the rules. Oh, listen to how sad I am now. Oh, guys, we'll just end stream. Well, no, there's no... Oh, I'm sure it was, CD. I expect it was AI. It was either AI or it was like brain rot. Which, even if it's brain rot, like I've had a couple of people do just full brain rot shit before. And as long as it's done, like it was actually on the Feedback Friday we did with Keelan like a month ago. And it was the very end of stream, and some guy came in and was, yeah, I've got a track or whatever. And it was just the silliest fucking brain. Oh, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not, it's honestly, it's kind of hard because it's like, I never want to be a jerk to somebody. And for all I know, he's or she or they or whatever has worked very hard on this track and is really trying, and, and that's all fine. And I know that feedback streams are, people view it as promo, and that's totally fine with me. I don't mind people submitting stuff that they've already released and they're really just trying to get eyes on it, generate followers and stuff. That's totally okay. This is a fine platform for that. Still, it's got to be through the lens of what I'm trying to do, which is be educational, informative, help people, share the knowledge that I've accumulated over my career. We do take things, as you guys know, relatively seriously around here. If somebody comes in, and this is what happened on the stream with Keelan, he came in and he was like, feedback on the tune, and I pulled it up and we listened to 5 seconds of it. It was total nonsense meme brain rot, but it was funny. It was well done. And he was like laughing and chatting. He's like, yep, this is totally goofy. You don't have to take it seriously. I just wanted to share. And we had a good time with it. And it's like, that's totally cool. But yeah, coming in, it was literally just distorted noise to blow out your eardrums. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, and he's trying to prank. And that's honestly exactly why the feedback form is there, because it's very effective at rooting that out. It's very effective at rooting AI stuff out. We actually just had somebody yesterday who he submitted a sumo track, but he was honest about it. And I was just like, hey, it's, I understand, like it's a cool tool, but we don't really do that around here. So, what? Juby, why didn't it work? But we'll listen to Austral in just a second here. Why is feedback not working? What the hell is going on? Lumia stream. Little help here, buddy. All lights are green. What the hell? Stream Elements might be having it. So the feedback command is run through. Wait, hang on. Is anything working? Or Lumia stream just might be like fully down for a second. That happens occasionally. Oh yeah, Lumia stream's completely crashed. My lights are off. Hang on. Give me a second. Let me reboot. Lumia stream. And then, yeah, sorry. We got Austral next, and then Juby. We'll check out your thing. Okay, that's back on. Lumia stream is here. Good. Let's try this real quick. There we go. Great. TTS isn't working, but that always takes a second to kick back on. Just no idea. No, that was all the thoughts I had for you. Don't know. It's can you send you that ride? I can later. Yeah, that's not. I can make a sound for you if you want. It wouldn't be. That was just purely as an example. Get out of here. So if you have a ride sample you like, that's fine, or I'm happy to make one for you if you want. But yeah, I think everybody agrees the track is fucking fantastic. But take those thoughts as you will. The important thing is that you are, yeah, sure, man. Absolutely. That's easy. Yeah, 100%, man. Absolutely. So I'm not surprised that it was noise. And then I would play it for 2 seconds and go, cool. And then they would laugh, I guess, and be like, oh, I pulled one over. And it's like, wow, you successfully wasted 4 seconds of everyone's time. Incredible. The peak of comedy. Anyways, we don't have to dwell on it. But yeah, don't know. That is all of that. So thank you for sharing. Amazing fucking job, as always. And yeah, I'll do a ride sound for you for sure. Austral Iris. Let's take a Poughkeepsie at what you got going on, friend. Let me refresh my memory here. Level 7, play piano, great. FL, looking for production feedback. 2015 vibes. I don't know what that even means. I didn't realize 2015 was a distinctive period of music, but I'm also old, so. Vaporwave, okay. Zach, I mean, I'll let you know. Yeah, I don't know. Vaporwave with other genres, sure. Yeah, that's kind of a case by case thing. I never really know what to do, so I just try to be nice. Oh, okay. Sick. Okay. Walks Vault, how's it going, friend? Welcome in. Yeah, jump in the Discord. Absolutely. You will get notified whenever I go live. Very cool, Austral. Very, very creative sound design. Thoughts. Okay. Number one, and we talk about this usually every stream because somebody's got a track. But you're gonna win some awards here for the most aggressively, like, -2 LUFS mastered track. It has verged into what I like to call eye-watering territory on your average loudness, which stop it. I did not mean to do that. I would really. I know the idea is to make it really like hard hitting and in your face and stuff. I would really recommend backing off on that maximizer limiter on your output because it is so squeezed. I was watching my meters. I always talk about watching my meters, and they literally weren't moving at all for most of that track. In the break sections, for sure, but in all the really, especially the aggressive kind of dubstep-y sound design-y stuff, my meter just went zoink and just sat there. And that's like, there's a point where you can kick it up to -11, -10, even maybe -9 LUFS or LKFS in terms of which channel is for stream submissions. Share your work is perfect. But if you want to do feedback, Voxvault, go ahead and do ! feedback in chat. I just have a little Google form that I have people fill out. It tells me a little bit more about you, about your
Mainism
track.
wants feedback on their
Perfect. Thank you,
song.
Mainism. Yeah, that's the link right there. So if you can just fill that out real quick, that would be awesome. Tells me a little bit more about you, the track, what DAW you're working in, all that kind of stuff. So I can, what you're looking for feedback on, if it's anything specific, etc. That gets you in queue, and you will be up next, I believe. So thank you. Love to check out what you got. But yeah, you hit a point with the loudness stuff. You hit a point of diminishing returns pretty quickly where instead of things feeling punchy, things just feel like so kind of crushed. And like, that's why I call it eye watering, where it's like, it's almost a little hard for me to listen to because like everything kind of loses definition and the top end gets harsh in a really digital way. I would strongly recommend backing off on your master there. You're going to find that it might not be as loud, LOUD, but it's going to be punchier and clearer and more defined and actually have more impact. Because if you want your music to be louder, all you have to do is reach for a volume knob and turn your speakers up a little bit. But what you gain in trying to be really, really loud, LOUD loud, you lose in transient definition, top end detail. You're introducing distortion. You're introducing phase issues. You're doing all kinds of other things that are actually lessening the impact of all of your very hard work doing your sound design. That is my biggest point of feedback for you. Other than that, very, very cool track. Your sounds are very, very creative. I like the vaporwave kind of vibes. Did your form not submit? Oh, it might have. Sorry. I haven't been looking at Q. Next is Juby. Then is Wox, is who's next in queue for feedback. Sorry, Juby. Actually, honestly, I'm a great expert in mixing and mastering. My main strength is creative parts, so I appreciate your advice. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, so that's something that I would recommend looking up, just Googling, is LUFS, and I'll drop it in the chat for you so that you can go, just watch a couple of YouTube videos about it. If you want. LUFS is basically, it's an acronym for loudness under full scale. Doesn't really matter like the super geeky stuff about it, but it's how we measure the average loudness of a song. And it gets into like delivery specifications for stuff. Fun fact, the track is -2. Yes, it is. So you want to be at like -10 would be pretty aggressive. In my book, there are some guys who would argue for like -8, -7. I like to tap out at about -10. -2, LUFS is more than dB. So LUFS is measured in dB, but it is basically what LUFS is it is taking the average volume of your entire track over time. So typically how you go about it is you can get a tool like Ozone. I use Ozone from iZotope. It's an excellent mastering tool. There's lots of metering tools. There's lots of mastering maximizers, limiters that will give you a real-time readout of your LUFS value. And you basically just let your song play through, and it'll kind of listen and analyze over time, and it'll give you, at the end of your song, a value that says the average loudness of this song is -13, -10. and it's measured in the negative. Hey, it's Pollo. Welcome back. Hola, Pollo. ¿Cómo estás? Pollo's awesome. We love Pollo. Bien, bueno. What was I saying? It's measured negatively because you're kind of treating, it's looking at things in terms of zero, like zero being absolute maximum loudness. That gets into like the electrical engineering side of audio, so we don't need to worry about that. It's a term with many variations in dB. So it's not even about variations. It's about, I'm very good, Pollo. Muy bien. Gracias. It is, it's not about like variation between things. It's about averaging the whole thing. It's about averaging your loudness of the whole track. So even if there's quiet parts to the track and then really loud parts to the track, a good analysis of it will give you the overall volume. And that's useful because different distribution platforms expect different LUFS values. And if it's off target, it will normalize your song for you. So if you upload something to Apple Music is going to expect your track to be at -13. If your track isn't at -13, if it's at, say, -2, it's just going to normalize your whole tune down by, 11 dB. It's going to turn your whole, it's like going into your master bus and turning it down by 11 dB. They do that to ensure a clean user experience on playlists or people listening to music across their platform. So, Tidal allows you to cancel that. Some services will allow you to turn off volume normalization, but even if they say they're letting you turn it off, you're just lessening it. Because, and especially with something like -2, you start to get into territory where you can damage people's speakers. You can actually damage people's earbuds. You can hurt people's hearing. If somebody's like has their system cranked up pretty loud and they're vibing out to music and they're getting tracks that are -10, -13 in that range, and then a track that comes on at -2, there's a real chance it will actually shred their speakers. Like literally cause their speakers to overexert and pop the surrounds out. I have seen it happen before. So it's an important thing to educate yourself on. And if you guys want me to like go a little bit more into the technicalities of it, I'm happy to. It's a spiel I kind of do a lot because it's kind of an unsung or oft misunderstood part of the mastering process. It's actually the whole point of mastering is to get things to the correct volume spec. And there's different targets for everything. Like you target for YouTube's -11, Apple Music is -13, Spotify's -14. And then if you're submitting for TV or sync, you're going to be down at like -20, -22. It's like a totally different spec. So, and there's a constant ongoing thing of like louder. Everybody's tracks have to be louder, but it's actually like not great. And when you push things to a point like -2, your output in your DAW, your that mastering limiter that's getting it to that point is doing so much work that it actually really starts affecting your mix in a very detrimental way. It causes phase issues. It causes transient definition issues. It causes digital distortion and clipping. It can cause intersample peaking. It can cause all kinds of problems that makes your track really not sound as good as it can. Anyways, that's my rant about loudness. LUFS, LUFS, it's also called LKFS is another abbreviation for it. Look it up, learn about it, get a tool that'll help you measure it. Find a good target. I recommend if you really want to push it, -10. If you want to be industry standard, go -13. What about RMS? Great question, Carefree. So RMS is similar to LUFS, but RMS, which is real means sum, I think, or real time means sum, I think is what RMS is short for, if I can remember correctly. So RMS is an ongoing measurement, essentially. So like RMS, if you play a track back and you have RMS metering going on, oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. It's just going to track, usually with like a second behind it. You can set different, depending on what metering you're using. It's going to track a certain period of time. usually a couple of seconds, and give you a rolling average loudness. Woo! Toast. Like we have RMS metering on consoles a lot of times, as opposed to peak metering, which is like true real-time metering. LUFS is going to average an entire song and give you a really specific value. I think there's also differences in how they're calculated. Like you might get an RMS reading of, I'm not even going to hazard a guess because RMS is used a little more in live sound, and RMS is important if you're dealing with analog gear. I haven't thought in terms of RMS in a very long time. But yeah, RMS is more designed for real-time monitoring. LUFS is designed for getting something to a particular delivery specification on output and final delivery. Great question, though, Carefree, and welcome in, and thank you very much for the follow, and thank you, Walks, for the follow. Since we've got a couple of new people tuning in, I'll do my quick spiel, then we're going to check out Juby's track. Next in line after that is somebody else. Walks, of course. How could I forget? Hi, I'm Nathan Scott. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Just so you guys kind of know what's going on here on my stream, I am a full-time producer, composer, multi-instrumentalist, mix master, engineer. Most of my work these days is game scoring. I also do artist production. I do commercial production. And a lot of my stream is about us just like doing client work for my game developer clients, artist clients, etc. Of course, if anybody needs mix master services, production services, scoring, composition, arrangement, lots and lots of other stuff, please start R&B style track. Absolutely, man, for sure. Love some good R&B. Feel free to hit me up on Discord. You can do !Discord to get an invite there. We also do feedback on people's tracks. Today is Feedback Friday, so that's mostly what we're focused on right now. !Feedback will get you a link to a Google form. Oh, thank you, Birdland. Keeping me hydrated with my LaCroix passion fruit. No, but !Feedback in chat will get you a link to a Google form that I have set up. Just fill that out for me real quick if you want feedback. Lets me know who you are, what your track's all about, what DAW you're working in, your level of experience. Pet Toast, excellent. We can pet Toast. Toast is our co-host here on stream. How old is Toast? Toast is 4-ish. Hey, bud. Chat wants to pet you. Yeah. What's happening here? Oh. I'm rolling all over my robe. That's what's happening. Yes, that's Toast. We love Toast. He is a literal potato indeed. But anyways, that's kind of the deal with stream here. So, but to wrap up for you, Austral, yeah, other than the loudness thing, it's a very cool track. There's some stuff in the beginning that I was also going to point out, and I'll just talk about it real quick. I don't want to get too in the weeds on it. In this section right here, you start with this ARP. Yeah. There's one little note in there. Your ARP is essentially doing this, right? And you have some other chords bouncing around underneath that. There's some notes in there that are clashing a little bit. I think there's some things that are going outside of the scale. I would just take a second look at that and just make sure that all of your note choices with that ARP and with the other chords around it just only in this first section. Rest of the tune sounded great. But in that first section, to make sure that everything is existing inside of a common scale. There were just a few little, it's kind of hard for me without having the track pulled up in front of me to like drill down and figure out exactly what it is. But there were just a couple of notes in there that were like, oh, that's clashing a little bit. Feels like there might be something that's kind of out of key or clashing scale and chord wise there. Other than that, though, like I said, it's really, really nice grooves, really nice sound design, cool vibes. Lots of extremely creative work with like the bass synths and all the very gritty, very intense. I love all of that. Got really nice choices with synths through those sections. Mix is pretty crispy. Yeah, I think the mix is pretty well balanced as well. Maybe a little bit more on that ride that you have going on. Could be like compress that a little bit more so that it's a little longer sustained. Could sound nice. I love that lead tone though. So yeah, overall, very, very cool. Just, yeah, the loudness thing for sure. And you'll feel when you get the loudness dialed in, your mix is going to open up a ton in a really, really nice way. So, but thank you for sharing, Austral. Very cool track. Appreciate you popping in. Okay, let's move right along here. That was Austral. Next, we've got something from Juby. SoundCloud, but this time it is in the Discord. Okay, let's go find the Discord. Oh, sick. Okay, great. We got all kinds of new members and folks hanging out and all this stuff. Okay, Kitty from our very own Juby. This one is shit. I would have done things a lot differently. Okay. Will you let me be the judge of that? Nice side chaining. Really clean. See, and this is actually, you're going to crack up at this, Juby. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is, I don't know specifically with Luffs, but this is like in a really nice place volume-wise, where it's quieter, technically, than Austral's track was. But if I just turn it up a little bit, it's super punchy. Because you've really got your side chaining nailed down. Nice snare sound. Ooh. Yes, she can wait. Yeah. Gloopy. That's an excellent word for it, ZDD. Yes, gloopy is good. Yeah, I see what you mean, Juby. You know, it's like very cool idea, very cool setup. And then it just like vibes for a second. I can tell you were like, okay, I don't quite know what to do. It's cool. Not that that's a bad thing. Sound design's great. Mix is really quite nice. It's crispy. It's super punchy. Your side chaining's on point. Sound design is really nice. I think I just said that. Very detailed. I like your choice of synths, placement, everything. Stereo imaging's great. Some might even say Sloopy. They might. They could. Maybe. Could be cool. Thank you, Shaperbox. Indeed. W. Juby. Absolutely, W. I think this is great. if you have the original file for this, you could definitely revisit it now and build it out a little bit more. But yeah, and that's like, that happens to everybody, you know, where you like, you have a great idea and you start to build it out and you're like, oh, this is dope. And you like get into, it's okay, Chubby. I'm not saying anything you haven't heard me talk about before. Go talk to your mama. We love our mamas. Our mamas are good. You start with a great idea for a track and you get to, you know, the midway point or whatever. And then maybe you're like, okay, I've built up this really cool idea. But I don't know how to finish it. I don't know how to keep it going. My tried and true for that situation is to walk away from that track for a couple of days, listen to some other stuff, work on some other stuff. If you can completely forget about that track, like let it totally leave your head to where you don't even really remember what it sounds like, then come back to it and re-listen to it. And at least for me, 9 times out of 10, something new pops off. Some new idea. You're listening back and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember thinking this, but why didn't I think of this? And now you have like a new point of inspiration. Juby, all I said was, if you hit a point in a track where you feel like you don't know where to go with it, like halfway through, just walk away from it for a couple of days, save it, let yourself kind of forget what you did, and then come back to it. It'll spark new ideas. At least it works that way for me, like 9 times out of 10. So, and of course, like listening to other new things or other artists or whatever got corrupted. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. We love the Toast Dance. It's very good. But sick. Super sick track. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing. It's so good. Okay, let's click right along. And you are not a level 1, Juby. Jesus Christ. You're at least a 5. You're like building patches on a mini freak and shit. It's great. Okay, Walks, you are up. Very, very good. Level 7 producer. You play guitar, you play piano. Awesome. Working in FL and Pro Tools. Okay. Mixed feedback, recording performance quality. Okay. Sick. I love it, Walks.
Tell me where you start to let go. We did everything we have turned so special. The hardest part for me was letting you go.
Great groove right off the bat. I love that drum sample.
Really hate your bittersweet side. Really, really hate yours. I really, really hate your bittersweet side. Man, it's crazy the way that they gon' switch sides. Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your track. Have you ever heard of the band Soul Coughing, Walks? You are a dead ringer for early Mike Doty. If you don't know Soul Coughing, check out Soul Coughing. You will be they're a band from the 90s from New York. I think you would be very hip to Soul Coughing.
Tell me when you start to let go. She been stressed out, she just need an X-roll. She just wanna use, I ain't tripping on no X-hoe. She wanna make a move, I promise ain't no B-roll. My Billie Jean can sue, I got labels trying to sue me. Lately you've been changing, I've been running to the bank. This type of money knock a bounce. And my time is money, I can't waste my time up on a loss. I'ma stop with my pocket stuffed up like Rick Ross. They one leak the walk box, I ain't doing TikTok. I'm charging on the leg for that. I'm tired of being ripped off. Tired of letting shot, let my piss speak, I'm pissed off. Can you tell me, when did it all turn so special? Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me when you start to let go.
Nowhere grabbers. I love this. I love that.
Can you just tell me when you let go? I don't fire, but it's no more. I should've let
Dude, great track, man. Absolutely killer. I love this. Your voice is so unique, man. Great lyrics. I really like my first thing that I was going to mention is like there's some timing stuff where I feel like the groove with your lyrics and how you're lining up with the drums could like use some tightening up. As I was listening, I was like, no, it's like there's a very like interesting organic like ebb and flow to it that actually works really well. So I'm not even gonna say anything about it.
Really,
Great production. I wish your voice was a skosh louder.
bittersweet side. Man, it's crazy the way that they gon' sweet.
But other than that, like the mix sounds really nice. I like how wide, like you're handling your imaging, your stereo imaging really, really well. With like you've got all your synths and stuff pushed out to the side. It's wide and fat. It's really rich, but it's like it's all out here and kind of wrapping around the whole track. And then your drum loops like dead center with your vocal. And that's a great, and then like that, the really ripping bass down in there.
Tell me when you start to let go.
I always think about, because they're talking about mixing, I look at mixes like paintings, right? And so you've got your sides, you've got your high frequency, you've got your low frequency. And like my classic structure for a mix is kick and bass here, right? Like right like that. Snare here, vocals here, maybe some reverbs on the vocals out like this. And then all your other stuff gets to hang out here around the edges. Because that's like when people are listening to your song, really, especially with music like this, they give a shit about three things. They give a shit about your vocal, a kick and snare, the drum groove, and the bass. That's what needs to be in the middle. That's what needs to be hitting. That's what needs to be pushing. And you've got that on lock. Everything else is candy. Everything else is adornment. And it's very important. That's not to say the other elements aren't important, but that just in terms of the picture that is your mix that you're painting, you've nailed that here.
Tell me.
I do have an idea for you though, and that's what I was pulling up over here. Hang on. Because the only thing that I wish is that it just evolved, the beat in the background evolved a little bit more as the tune goes along. And my idea for it, and this is just one little thing, this is what kind of stuck out to me. You're in B flat minor. This is a Hammond B3 organ. Here is just one example of a little subtle thing that you could add at some point in the tune. Just some kind of something up there, just doing a little bit more. And I don't know why my brain is telling me organ, but
The same thing we came from. Tell me when you start to let go. When did it become a special? Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me when you start to let go.
something up there. Whether it's like some patty stuff, whether it's hooky, something something rhythmic. I don't know. That's just like the initial like, yeah, take it to church a little bit. Absolutely, for sure. Because like you've got this down here, all those kinds of frequencies, the air conditioning. That's actually a good way of putting it, Jimmy. You've got all that stuff on lockdown. So yeah, I want something up there, and I wish, hang on, let me do something real quick. Because one of my favorite things about Hammonds is that you can we do this? No, we can't. Okay. So Hammonds, you can, you have what's called a Leslie speaker, right? And traditionally, you would run Hammond organs, or lots of different kinds of organs, into this thing called a Leslie, which was basically it's a speaker cabinet, but the speaker's mounted pointing down. And underneath it is a horn. So it's like a piece of plastic that has like a directional cone that's spinning. And so the sound comes out of the speaker, out of your organ, and goes down into this cone, and then the cone throws it around in a big circle. And you can control the sound, the speed of it. So here's slow, and there's fast. And it gives it's kind of chorusy, it's kind of tremolo-y, but like it's part of what gives the Hammond its very distinctive sound. Yeah, fast is cooler. Mellotrons are also great. Wurlitzer could be good too. That's a good call, Carefree. We can try a Whirly real quick. Pull up Keyscape here. Let's turn off. I was talking about bandpass EQing earlier and high and low pass filters. Where's my I have a great Whirly patch for this. Rocker Blues, the Whirly 200A. And I am not the keyboard player for this at all. But
I should've left you at that little thing you came for. We all afraid to turn into the same thing we came from. Tell me when you start to let go. When did it become a special?
you know, something like that.
Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me when you start to let go.
Yeah, if it's something like a Whirly, something more staccato. Oh yeah, there you go. That's what it is on Whirly.
The same thing we came from. Tell me when you start to let go. When did it become a special?
Something like that, but you could honestly even have both. Like with some nice spring reverb on it, kind of a vibe. And/or yeah, like some Hammond, now that we've got the Leslie. Nice.
Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me when you start to let go.
That kind of stuff. Where are we at here? Anyways, sorry, total tangent. Not trying to take over your track. Production-wise, mix-wise, I don't. Other than like your vocals like a little low, but it's not even low in a bad way. It's just low in some guys mix vocals with the track here. Some guys put their vocal here. And you're kind of in this region, and that's fine. I usually mix for here. It's just a different way of doing it. I don't think it's too quiet. I can still hear you just fine. I just like, rap, R&B, hip hop, anything kind of in this style, pop. I like really out front vocals. Tends to be a little bit more commercial. But Like your kit sounds great. Your voice sounds really nice. The recording, you asked about the recording quality. Everything sounds fantastic. You know, I don't have any complaints there. What mic did you use? Just out of curiosity, like what's your recording chain like?
When did it all turn so special? Tell me when you start to let go. Tell me when you start to let go.
I love this break too. It's really, really cool effect. I'd love to hear you work with like a really killer drummer and a killer keyboard player. Could like do some really cool. Worm, nice. I love the Worm stuff. 47 Junior, great mic. All the Worm stuff is excellent. Very, very good choice. I've used a ton of Worm stuff over the years. Big fan. Their Telefunken 251 clone is like one of the better sounding vocal mics for the money I think that exists on planet Earth. Yeah, man, this is sick. I would listen to this all day. Please share more. We usually we really do like one track per person per stream, but I do Feedback Friday pretty much every Friday, and then I stream Monday through Friday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So doing all kinds of different stuff. So please, I would love to see you back in here as much as you would want to be, because you're excellent, man. You're very, very good. I was just looking at my meters again. Even like the mastering is like it's loud, but I can tell you, it's not overbaked. Like I see a lot of the time. So yeah, 5 stars, man. Great job. Killer track. I love it. I love it. Very, very creative, very unique, very well put together. And if you want to use one of those keyboard ideas, you get at me in Discord if you want. Do ~ Discord and you will get an invite. And I would be, feel free to send me a DM on there if you ever need mixing or production or anything. My, always looking for new peeps to hang out with. So very good. Well, that is, I think, the end of Q. And honestly, we've been going for about 3 hours. I'm probably going to, yes, it is. It is the end of Q. We did a good chunk though. You dropped a track too? Oh, did you? Did you do the form, Carefree? If that's the case, we'll absolutely take a look at it. Sorry if you got skipped. I didn't see your name. Maybe I skipped over your name on accident in the form queue here. Juby, Austral. Was it a while ago? Chakra. I don't think. Did you do it in the form or did you just like post in the Discord? Wasn't aware. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. And it's not a huge deal. But yeah, that's fine, Juby. Yeah, here, I'll get you the link here.
And Faster wants feedback on
just
their
super
song.
quick. It's just helpful for me because there's like a spot to say what DAW you work in and like your level of experience and all that kind of stuff. Just it helps me tailor my feedback a little bit more for like specifically what you're wanting me to listen for. So if you don't mind, just super quick. And then yeah, the Discord's totally fine. We can even start. I'll start listening to it while you fill that out. Are you key in Discord? That would make sense. Yeah, Carefree. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's check it out. Ooh. Gorgeous changes.
Natural. You keep it simple.
gorgeous. My God, great tracks from everybody today, man. This is super vibey, man. This is honestly a perfect thing to like wind downstream to. Really, really, really nice. I love all the textures. Your drums are nice and tight. Love your drum sounds. I love the like brushed snare. A fun trick I'll do for that sometimes is you can literally just record, like get like a notebook, there's like a paper notebook, and like literally just like rub the notebook in time with a metronome. Can also be a really cool way to get that like brushed snare sample. That's literally what you did. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna be so crazy to be like, I can tell that's what you did, but at the sound of, I'm like, I've done that for sure. It's a fabulous way to get that sound. So two things. Are you doing any side chaining off of your kick and snare? It didn't feel like you were. Maybe you're doing a little bit. Oh no, not a big ad. Oh no, we'll vibe. And then Carefree can let us know when he's back. Where's Superman when you need him? I know, right? Somebody gift this man a sub. But no, we always take, if people, I should have a thing on screen that's like, if you get an ad, let me know. My control over that is relatively limited. So if you get an ad while I'm giving you feedback, please let me know, and I will happily take a pause while you're yelled at by Geico or whatever the fuck else. It's perfect timing too. I've finished my my passion fruit LaCroix. It's my studio. I do what I want. That will be immediately picked up as soon as stream is over. Me too, Juby. Me too. But yeah, we're gonna wind down stream after this, unless anybody comes in with a last minute feedback. I'm back. Excellent. Welcome back. Yeah, literally all I was saying is I'm always happy to take a pause. I have limited control over when ads happen for people, so always happy to take a pause. Woo! Toast dance. Used a pizza box. That's awesome. Pizza boxes, shockingly resonant objects. No, so what I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted by advertising. I don't know if you're doing any side chaining off of your kick and your snare. You might be doing a little bit. It didn't sound like you were doing much, if any. I would lean into that a little bit more, especially in this style. I think it's a very cool element. If you are unfamiliar with side chaining, I am happy to explain what it is and how to do it. Very easy, but a critical production technique to know. Side chain the kick, but not the snare. So, okay, in that case, I would go a little bit harder. I would increase the ratio on that side chain, and I would slow down the release on that side chain to really also only side chain the kick for one layer. Okay, yeah. I typically with this style of real lo-fi stuff, I like a really like a pretty aggressive side chain. I personally think sounds really nice. I don't think it's bad. Your kick is still super punchy. It's not like it's getting lost. It adds to the aesthetic of it and like gives it some nice like momentary space. And then snare, I could take or leave. Sometimes it sounds nice, sometimes it doesn't. Amount of dubstep producers that don't bother sidechaining somehow make a mix from the gods. I would be surprised if any of them are not sidechaining, to be honest with you. That's like pretty bone stock technique or if they're not sidechaining, they might be using like an envelope shaper, sort of a situation on on some of their buses or something, which has effectively the same effect. But yeah, I would personally, again, this is totally subjective, but I would go a little more heavy with the side chaining and get it pumping a little bit more. I think would be cool. Other than that, the other thing I was going to say is your vocals, the like mix and the effects on them are very cool. They're very dark and they're very quiet. So again, that gets into a little bit of subjectivity. if you want people to hear, like being fully honest with you, I did not hear or understand a single lyric. I know that like lo-fi stuff like this gets very creative. Sometimes that's the vibe. We already listened to one of yours, Juby. We got it's the rule. I'm so sorry. One per person. You were going for unintelligible, then you nailed it. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, if you want people to be able to understand, Juby. I'm sorry, gotta follow the rules. There are rules, even for my besties. That's like definitely a vibe and a technique with lo-fi stuff like this. So I get it, and it works very well in that way. But I was like, if you want people to know what you're saying, like up, brighter, but no, it works great. No, man, super cool, super creative, really lush. Is that like a Farfisa organ? Or like a Vox Continental or something like that you got going on there through a bunch of like band passing and darkness. It has a very, very Farfisa organ vibe to it. It's Mellotron, totally. Yep, absolutely. Space. Your changes are also gorgeous, like the chord changes. Really, really, really nice movement. What is it, as a matter of fact? Excellent use of the diminished subdominant, my friend. So you're going like D flat dim, or really half diminished, and then you've got like a really nice F dominant or F sharp dominant, G flat dominant, flat 9 kind of a. Yeah, it's not a flat 13. Kind of a thing, and then. Love a good diminished passing chord, absolutely. And then just back to your nice B minor vibes. I can play that much easier if I transpose. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then the 4, okay. Yeah, then you go like 4, what is that, minor 9 kind of a thing. That's gorgeous, man. That's great. That's lovely. Super classic. Super classic. You a jazz player? You're really nice at keys. I mean, thank you. Keys are like my worst instrument by far. I'm a bass player and guitarist and drummer much more than I am a keyboard player. I just noodle. But thank you. I jam over that shit all day though, for sure. Great track. Absolutely great track. Round of applause for that. Came with progression on guitar and transcribed it to keys. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a very... I can see that. I can definitely see that. Excellent. Yeah, well, if you're a guitar guy, you'll appreciate this. This is my main instrument these days, is this absolutely wild piece of kit. 8-string fanned fret headless with a with a floating bridge. This thing is absolutely monstrous. It sounds excellent and is a shitload of fun to play. But yeah, because I do a lot of game scoring, and this thing it gives me a ton of range. I can go and do like the really genty stuff, but it's like really really nice cleans, and yeah, it's a good time. But anytime there's a guitar player in chat, I'm like, look at my silly guitar. It is crazy, yes. I got it for the scoring stuff, but also I'm doing some live looping stuff. Has 8 Juby. And I tune it real fucking weird because I'm a bass player. So it's F sharp, B, E, A, D, G, C, F. I have it in perfect fourths all the way across the board, starting with F sharp. What's up, Anti-Jerks? How's it going, buddy? You know what? Screw it. Hang on. I want to vibe to this for a second. I love this track, man. This is a seriously nice piece. It has the bass line. Where you struggle the most in your production. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about baseline stuff. I usually don't, which is funny because I'm a bass player. Bass lines and lo-fi stuff usually don't grab me a whole lot because they're usually like very mellow and straightforward. And they're also usually very subby. Let's listen. Overall good. I like it. What I would say is you always almost always, and I really mean almost always, like 99 times out of 100, you want to have your bass line starting on the root chord of what's going on. And bass is actually, that's most of my like professional touring experiences as a bass player. I've been a full-time bass player for 15 years. I have done many, many shows, many, many tours. And I've actually taught a lot of courses on bass playing. So you like instances where you start a bass line or have a bass line ever land on the downbeat where it's not the root note of the chord, very, very few and far between. It's a very difficult thing to do and something you generally want to avoid. I point that out because I think there's a few moments in there where you're starting like on the third of the chord in the bass. It risks getting muddy. If I were to do a bass line for this, let me grab an actual, like a little dissonance. So yes, that's a fair point. But when it comes to basses, there's a very fine line between dissonance and muddiness, because just in terms of the physics of sound, it becomes the lower in pitch you go, the harder it becomes to distinguish between close intervals, right? And so it's the same reason why bass players almost never play chords. So 74 jazz bass, by the way, all original. I love this thing. You want to, like most bass lines, you'll certainly get melodic bass lines that walk around through scales and stuff. But you want to stick to root fifth, maybe third, and you want to land almost always on those root notes. So let's see here. I think the bass is good. I wouldn't stress too much about it. But what I was going to do is I was going to... what I would play for this as a bass player would be something like this. outline the diminished, walk down, arpeggiate outline to the 4. Right? Like great bass lines usually are focused on arpeggiating around chord shapes and leading the listener's ear to the next chord in the sequence, right? So your progression, right? We're starting on the, yeah, absolutely. Here, I'll outline the whole thing for you. So you're starting on your D flat diminished, right? Up the diminished triad, so D flat, E, G, and that lands us perfectly on that F sharp, right? And then just walk down. So you land on the F sharp or the G flat, E, D, D flat, or C sharp, B. And that gets us back to that B minor, right? And then same thing, arpeggiate the minor chord. B, D, F sharp. And then you go to that nice minor 4, that E minor. And then you can kind of, it's not really an arpeggio, but it's E, D, B. And then that leads you and perfectly outlines that shape again, right? So, yeah. Diminished to the 5, walk down to 1, minor arpeggio to 4, and then just little shape, outlining, kind of jumping around and outlining, leading back into that D flat. That's what I would do as a bass player. And then get totally shreddy and silly with it. But yeah. And that's all the same shapes, right? Like it's a triad up because that outlines really nicely. What you're doing is essentially a 2-5-1 cycle. Like you're cycling through the circle of fifths in key. I mean, I can just like shred. Yeah, playing over the changes, exactly. Honestly, yeah, I was gonna jam out to this on guitar, but we'll oh, that was the end. And maybe some of this, there's more ideas in here, but we'll see. Why is there not a volume control on this site? That's very confusing. Yeah, great shit. Ugh. Ah. Woo! Yay, bass. Anyways, so saucy. Yeah. Playing his taste. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, bass is the one thing that I've played a lot of bass in my life. There was a time, 2014, I think was my craziest year. I did 270 shows and 15 tours. But thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate it. I've done it a lot. So, and as a disciple, I would not describe myself as a disciple of Davey 504. I was featured on a Davey 504 video one time. I actually, to be completely honest with you, don't really like Davey 504 very much. I find him to be kind of annoying. But I do appreciate the work. He had me play drums on a song for him. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy, but his shtick is not up my alley. Anyways, Carefree, excellent track, man. I love it. Please come back around anytime. Share more. I am on. I have to raise the bass after that. I can't hear it the same anymore. Indeed. Sorry, that's my fault. Yeah, absolutely. No, like, come back around anytime. This is usually exactly what my stream is like. Although usually I'm doing client work, so I'll do, like, the projects that I normally work on, game scoring, artist production, all that stuff. I'm doing it live in real time, and I play all the stuff, play drums, play guitar, play keys, play bass, play percussion, do a bunch of production, mixing. We do some lo-fi stuff, absolutely. I had a whole game a while ago. That was all like lo-fi scoring, not really scoring stuff, but lo-fi stuff. But yeah. But I think that is going to do it for us today, guys. We've been going for 3.5 hours now. That's pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. We heard some great tracks. New followers, big shout out. Walks, Carefree, thank you so much. Lil Skibbity, Ohio Rizzler 67 followed. So kind of them. Glide, Skillo Music. Who else we got? Nuggets in my Pocket, Mainism. That was all from a couple of days ago. I'm out of liquid. I can't drink anymore, but I will go drink immediately, Birdland. Don't you worry. How unfortunate he couldn't do the forum. I know, right? I was so excited to hear his brain rot. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for hanging out. Normal end of stream stuff. I guess actually kind of big announcement. On Sunday, I will be doing a live looping stream. My first ever live looping, lo-fi, chill out, funky vibes, being cool kind of stream. So please keep a lookout for that Sunday evening. I have not decided on a time yet. If you would like to be kept up to date with everything that is going on, which a bunch of new shit's going on right now. I'm revamping a bunch of things. ! Discord will get you into our Discord server. You will get pinged when I go live, as well as get to hang out with a bunch of cool people and, stay up to date with things. So please jump in there, DM me. As always, I am available for higher. Goes kind of without saying. If anybody needs anything mixed, anything produced, anything edited, anything whatever, game scored, I am your man. Get at me on Discord. That is the best way to get a hold of me. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Great tracks from everybody today. That was a ton of fun. We will be back on Sunday with the looping stream, back with regular production stream on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. That is going to do it for me for the evening. I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday. If you can make it, it should be a pretty good time. And other than that, everybody have a great night, great evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And we will see you guys again very soon. So thanks again. I adore each and every one of you. Bye.